I am a friend.
I am a sports fan.
I am your neighbor.
I am a member of your church.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am a police officer.
Support your local law enforcement officials. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police. Visit partnersinpublicsafety.com.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, welcome in, everyone. It is Dom time. In a field of insufferable people, Mika Brzezinski's got to be near the top of the line. Today's diatribe, Obama is jealous of Joe Biden. That's what this is all about. He's jealous of Joe Biden. No, Obama thinks that Joe Biden is a moron, always has been a moron. And what could he do? They didn't have anybody else that could get over the finish line in 2020. You may remember how reluctant he was to even come close to endorsing it. I'll play you a little bit of what was said. It is clear, though, that I think people around Obama, particularly this brigade of these speechwriters for Obama, one is John Lovett. First, I thought it was, wait a minute.
What?
I thought it was John Lovett, and I loved him in Seinfeld when he got the toupee, even though he didn't have cancer. Take that, Jack!
John Lovett, what?
Yeah, that's who I thought it was. No, it's the other John Lovett, and he just put up on Twitter. He's one of the Obama, people now coming out, the podcast Obama people. He said there's two Joe Bidens. One is a decent, big-hearted leader. The other is the blowhard with a chip on his shoulder. Oh, come on now. There's only one, the blowhard, all-time blowhard with a chip on his shoulder. Dope. So now we're into the defense of Biden by going after Obama, which is fine. It's another day in which, here's the significance of it. And I'll tell you what Mika Brzezinski said. The significance of it is this. Do you think, with Obama's fingerprints all over this now, I'm talking about George Clooney, who apparently called him and asked him about this op-ed. Maybe Obama called him, but Obama didn't try to persuade him not to write it. Maybe even said, let me give you my speech writers. They'll help you to take Biden out. So, yeah, his fingerprints are over a push to try to get Biden out. And I don't think it's because they're trying to put Michelle Obama in. If they wanted to tag Michelle Obama in, they would just tag Michelle Obama in. You'd see a groundswell. Again, I don't think she has a shot at entering this. I don't think she wants to do it. So is it Obama being jealous? You're going to hear because of the astounding accomplishments of Joe Biden, all these legislative accomplishments. Or is it Obama seeing the worst here And again, realizing how bad Biden is. But the thing for us is this. What does this mean? I say it means the Bidens fight harder. There is antagonism there. Do you think Dr. Jill Biden is mesmerized by the Obamas? No, I don't think so at all. I think she's saying, hell no, get more, let's barricade ourselves in here more. We're not going anywhere. You got to be kidding me with this sort of activity that's going on. So here's Mika Brzezinski, though, who is the Biden TV show, laying out that Obama is jealous, and that's why he did this. Look at the accomplishments. Look at that picture with Biden with Obama, and look at how accomplished he is. Here's Mika. Cut 10. I'm sorry, cut 19.
But, George Clooney. I mean, oh, brother, where art thou, Willie? And
I did like that movie.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
And I don't like movies.
My children and I have seen Fantastic Mr. Fox more than any other movie in the history of mankind, so I cannot diss George Clooney if I actually want to ever watch that with my kids again.
This wasn't George Clooney.
What do you mean?
It just wasn't. Come on.
Who do you think it was? Matt Damon?
It was not Matt Damon.
Who do you think it was?
It wasn't Julia Roberts either.
Who do you think it was? You can say the name. You won't melt. It's not Voldemort. Are you saying you think Barack Obama put him up to this?
I think that Barack Obama has a lot of influence, and I think that there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There is a lot there, Willie.
I'll tell you, there were two people in this picture, and one has had a presidency that was absolutely, undeniably historic.
Yeah. Well, I think you have two people that had extraordinarily historic presidencies.
Historic in terms of legislative accomplishments.
Right. Well, like you said, and
they're both historic.
And they're both historic.
Enough, I'm starting to get it myself here. It's murder. And this is an actual big-time TV show. But anyhow, so what she's getting at is Obama is the jealous one. Obama's jealous because of all that Biden. What has Biden accomplished other than to diminish the middle-class lifestyle of the average American with inflation? What has he accomplished? What is his brilliant legislative thing to do what that he has accomplished? What is the big thing that he's gotten done? There's nothing other than just a bunch of progressives wanting to spend more money. That's all that he's done. Obama's not jealous of this guy, other than the usual stuff. He's president now. How could that be? Hillary, the same thing. I feel with Hillary on this stand. Can you imagine Hillary? You can attack all that you want. I've interviewed her a couple times. She's competent. She's tough.
The weirdest thing about me is that I don't sweat.
She's not authentic. She has no personality. We know that.
I am a real person with...
Maybe not, but she's not a dope, and he is. They know it. They know that. Both of them are a lot smarter, tougher than this guy. And Dr. Jill Biden. I can imagine Hillary about Dr. Jill Biden.
Come
my
on,
God,
man.
All right, so 855-839-1210 will get you in. Now, here is the big Gretch. Here's Whitmer now. How is she playing this thing? The Gretch. She's trying the passive-aggressive approach.
What more should he do?
Before you go for it, Dan, she's not going to get the nomination. It's going to be Kamala Harris, if not Biden. I'm still betting on Biden. But in addition to that, if it's a VP selection, they're not going to Whitmer. They're going to go to Josh Shapiro. That's the thing that I worry about. Kamala Harris, Josh Shapiro. Much better ticket than Biden-Harris. All right, here's Whitmer, though. Listen to this way to get at Biden here about the cognitive test.
What more should he do to shut this conversation down? Should he, as some people have suggested, just go ahead and take a cognitive test and demand that Donald Trump do the same?
I don't think that'd hurt, to be honest. But at the end of the day,
so you think that he should take a cognitive test?
I don't think it would hurt. But here's the thing. There's a chapter in my book. I talk about being a happy warrior. I talk about in a debate, I was encouraged to never forget that the person who looks like they're having the most fun wins. Certainly, the first presidential debate was not a great success for President Biden. But he is the happy warrior. He shows up every day and fights for the American public. He cares about other people more than he cares about himself. And that's precisely why I think this moment where we have Donald Trump, who's been convicted of 34 felonies, who cares only about Donald Trump, We can't lose sight of how high these stakes are. We have a field, and unless one person, Joe Biden, makes an alternative decision, this is the field, and we've got to go.
All right. So there we go again, the passive aggressive. It wouldn't hurt to take a cognitive test. Why not be doing that, Joe? Where does Robert Hur go to get his reputation back? How does he get that? Remember this? The special prosecutor, Garland, tagged him in, and he did catch Biden sharing classified documents with his biographer, if you remember, that sold millions of dollars. And Hur called him a well-intentioned, I think he used the term doddering man with a bad memory, okay? Oh. And where does Robert Hur? He ought to be out there. We have Bill McSwain on, who was very tight with Robert Hur and talked about how thorough this guy was, and you saw the testimony. Why can't we see that then if this is just a bad night? That apparently would be more damaging than even what happened at the debate, seeing Biden for an extensive period of time, one-on-one, not even being pressed by her, but just indicating what everybody knew. Best take of the day, probably, Rich Lowry, National Review, talks about what was going on when they raised all that money. And everything was fine until it wasn't. And they're upset now. The new upsetment with Biden is not that it's up now, that everybody sees what was going on with Biden. But people are now seeing how many people enable this. The cheap fakes, the deep fakes, the Associated Press saying they're just putting different angles on it. Remember the whole thing where he's walking in the field and the Italian premier gets him? And they're telling us, oh, no, you didn't see that. There was really a guy folding his parachute there. She didn't have to do that. Obama didn't have to take him off stage. And Dave McCormick, Dan, had texted me today, new poll out with Bob Casey Jr. They've closed big time on Casey. So what's happened is Biden is not only damaging the chance to win the presidency, slowly but surely, anybody that really has a race going on. Notice the ones that are most supporting him, like AOC, Bernie Sanders, they have a safe seat. Nobody's going to take them out. That's why they're doing that. That's why they can do this. Then they'll get something from him if he's reelected. Those that don't have that, like Bob Casey Jr., they got to be worried now. By the way, Fetterman with Jesse Waters last night, that was great TV. I didn't think they killed each other. Fetterman came across to me as genuinely thinking Biden ought to stick and talking about loyalty and everything else. It's going to be interesting in that senators group with Fetterman and those other Democrat senators. But where we are is waiting to see what happens this afternoon at 5:30. Okay? At that point, we'll see the news conference. Now, look, they have the home court advantage. They chose the venue. They chose the format. Dan, my biggest thing that I'm hoping does not happen is the running out the clock. They'll put in some foreign press people there, some guy from Finland, and he wants to know some small point about NATO. Shut up. We don't want to care. We don't want to hear anything about NATO now. Every question ought to be about what's happened here. Because think about it. With all the back and forth, if they only give you maybe 20 minutes, the last news conference he did a while ago, I think was only 22 minutes, and you got 3 or 4 of these people wanting to know about minutia. Well, does that mean NATO will spend this much in Finland next year? That's what they're going to go for. That's one of the things they'll call on. Well, we got to talk about NATO. That's important. I don't know if they can find anybody sympathetic in the media, though, that if they go to them is going to throw them a softball. I think there would be such the media's been out it now. If you're, say, ABC, NBC, CBS, and you just say, how you feeling today, Mr. President? What flavor ice cream are you having after this? I think that's problematic. So they're going to try to run out the clock. They're going to try to mix in as many other things. They're going to say inflation is down. It's not down today, but the rate of inflation, thank God, is better. They're going to do stuff like that. That's how they'll try to get through it. Even with that, I don't know if they'll limit. The follow-up is always the thing. Biden could say anything he wants. Ask him about the cognitive exam. If he says, Why would I take that? I'm engaging with you right here. The follow-up is the critical thing to say. All right, we'll see how many follow-ups there are. We'll see how many NATO questions there are. Side question today, though. All-time great book, I think. It's been voted. The American book. I still think Huckleberry Finn is, but all right. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Wow, really?
Was published on this day in
Huckleberry
history.
Finn over To Kill a Mockingbird?
Oh, yeah, I would take Huckleberry
That's
Finn.
surprising hearing from you. I know how much you love.
Yeah. Mockingbbird's great, but Huckleberry Finn, I think, is even
From a film
better.
standpoint, there's no doubt that To Kill a Mockingbird. Is there any good Huckleberry Finn adaptation?
Maybe. By the way, I'm reading the biography of Grant now, and in there it says that Mark Twain served in a Confederate regiment.
Huh.
Mark Twain in a Confederate regiment? Uh-oh. All right.
So Elijah Wood actually played a mischievous Huck Finn back in 1993, The Adventures of Huck Finn, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, starring Ron Perlman as well.
Ron Perlman is...
Pap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was Pap Finn.
Okay. So we're looking for that all-time book, summertime. You used to, at this time of the year...
It's horrible. You get these lists.
You get the list of the book that you had to read.
You don't read anything all summer, and then the last 2 weeks come, and you have to scan through the pages to seem like you know something.
I'm going to take off the board. It might surprise people. It was short and all, but it's just ghastly. And then maybe DiCaprio played it, so that's made me hate it even more. The Great Gatsby. I just could not. My God.
Pretentious.
Yeah, just the whole pretentiousness of F. Scott Fitzgerald and Zelda. You should have seen the parties. Oh, my God. Hearing that all the time. Yeah.
Biggest.
Yes. Ro sent me this one. She's in league with Dan. Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
Didn't like that and doesn't like Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream.
So is she anti-Shakespeare?
No, she's not. She wanted you to know that, though.
Oh, just the one? Just the one?
That's the one. The comedies are not.
Okay.
Well, yeah. But you have a Shakespearean book. You told me and shocked me. I can't even repeat it that you don't.
I don't remember what it was. It was just the one that really turned me on Shakespeare was I was forced to read Othello. And I don't know what it was.
Wait a minute. This is a moment. Joe of Exton. Joe, you usually call in at the end of the show. I'm sure you're listening.
No, bother me about Othello, okay?
Yeah.
Because I could tell reading between all the crap that he would write on his lines, Shakespeare, that it was a really good story, and I wanted to know the story. It was just like, get to the dang point.
All right, Joe. You got to jump into the Shakespeare ring.
I don't need all the muckety-muck, William.
Yeah.
Bill.
All right, so hit us with that. Give us that book so wretched. For years, it was demanded, or you may have had to read it in college. Maybe it was dense.
I got a couple.
Go ahead.
Cat in the Hat.
That's a kid's book. Okay.
I know, but you get forced. Dr. Seuss gets shoved down your throat all through elementary school, and you're supposed to like Thing 1, 2, and The Cat in the Hat, and I just never got it, man.
You don't
I
like
respect
Cat in
Dr.
the Hat?
Seuss. No,
Okay.
I just
Wow.
yeah.
right.
And then how about Lord of the Flies? Similar to William Shakespeare, it's just there's so much muckety muck in between the lines that a good story gets lost.
I kind of like Lord of the Flies, but I'd have to go back and see if there's a lot of filler. There might be a lot
the
of
children
filler.
who came along the beach singly or in twos leapt into visibility when they crossed the line from heat haze to nearer sand. Here the eye was first attracted to a black bat-like creature that danced on the sand and only later perceived the body above it. The bat was the child's shadow shrunk by the vertical sun to a patch between the hurrying feet. It's all crap, Dom.
Sounds like great by the pool reading to me, but okay.
And then Henry came in, and he said one that he was forced to read, very excited to read it, and then just really let down. It was Shoeless Joe by W.P. Kinsella, later turned into 1989 film, Field of Dreams.
Ah, Shoeless Joe Jackson? Yeah, it was that bad?
The novel Shoeless Joe.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a novel. Okay, so here's how you get in. That's a side question. 855-839-1210. You get on board. Big take of the day, Biden is still there. I know we have the news conference. It's all good. And are we really supposed to believe Obama turning up the heat with all these little sycophants out there like George Clooney is going to drive Biden out? Or does it make him more determined he's not going to go? I say makes him more determined. 855-839-1210.
Next week, Rich Zeoli will be at the center of the political universe in Milwaukee and the Republican National Convention. Listen afternoons 3 till 7 every day next week for live coverage of breaking news, the inside scoop from top political experts, what's happening on the convention floor, and the issues that matter most to you.
Which candidate will defend our democracy and freedom?
Power always resides with the people. Always.
Rich Zeoli, live from the Republican National Convention. Afternoons 3 till 7 all next week. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Living with Lyme, a condition that you may have and not even know it. John DeMasi here, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Yes, you may be living with Lyme, even if you've had some kind of treatment. Dr. Molly Fantasia and the healthcare team at Innovative Medical Associates have dealt with this condition and have helped hundreds over the years live successfully with Lyme, mainly through the use of medical hydration. They've been able to reduce many of the symptoms associated with Lyme and allow their patients a better quality of life.
I want to get you through your initial challenge, working alongside with my physicians, and then get you to a place where we are looking at maintaining your immune system, maintaining your quality of life.
If you suspect you or someone you know has Lyme disease, visit innovativemedicalassociates.com on the web to schedule a free initial consultation or call 856-489-0505.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116.
Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Oh, I wish I could handle all my financial needs under one roof.
How many roofs do you go to?
Currently, 4. One for savings, another for loans, and...
Stop. Write this down. First Harvest Credit Union. I'm able to save money with amazing loan rates and saving options like certificates, checking, growth savings account, which is currently earning 3.5% annual percentage yield. Should I continue?
You had me at one roof.
Visit firstharvestcu.com or your nearest branch. Membership restrictions apply. Equal opportunity lender insured by NCUA.
Don't let them silence you. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, is that supposed to be a clue with the theme music? We're attacking Harry Potter?
Yeah. It wasn't another book that I was forced to read and just turned me off.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
Well, this is a different one because at the time it was like, oh, this gets kids to read. Kids love it. But it's the fantastical BS that is like Lord of the Rings and magic.
Well,
I just can't get behind.
Lord of the Rings, I can't get. That's absolutely true. All right, so we got Biden at 5:30 today. Number of donors dropping him. That's pressure. But the Obama pressure results, I think, in Biden wanting to stick it out even more. And I think this will go to the convention, and that's pretty messy to take him out there. Very, very messy. One other thing, not sure the sentencing hearing is over yet. We'll let you know when it is. John Doherty, Johnny Doc, Dan, and you weren't here during the heyday.
I'm not a big fan of the rap.
Of this. Is being sentenced today. There have been multiple trials and all that. You followed it, right?
Yeah.
And any number of people, Ed Rendell, Sister Mary Scowen, I think.
Always the first
hundreds.
Always the first one to have his block shoveled, it seemed, right?
Yeah. Hundreds of prominent people in the area writing letters saying why of the good that Johnny Doc did. All right, so really serious stuff, though. The ripoff of the union itself. the other, multiple things here going on. I'll just say this, though. Over the years, in the beginning, Dan, you can imagine the back and forth Johnny Doc and I had, but there were times where it was a pretty funny soap opera. Once he and Jim Kenney both allied, even though they hated each other, to come after me. Something about I was looking down with my monogram shirts and whatever. So I went to a Halloween store, got this giant top hat. They let me do it for nothing. Took the pictures there, and a giant G, and a big, the long cigarette thing, and an ascot all made up right there at the cotton. They put it in the Daily News. And he wished me that my sons were doing a Brokeback Mountain on the couch when I came home. Yes.
Wow.
Google it. You'll see it in the Daily News.
Johnny.
Yes. But I would say, in a lot of ways, what a character. What a roguish character, but what a character. So we'll see what the ultimate penalty is. But I just think the question it should be, has Philadelphia moved away from the union mentality in that manner? Somewhat, maybe. But I'm not sure that it's still not the same old thing, that the building trades control a lot of what happens in Philadelphia and how excessive it is, how much more expensive it makes it. We'll let you know when that comes down today. 855-839-1210. You got a line, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. So we're seeing so many people, this is cut 13, coming out of the woodwork. The Barstool sports guy, who I think is a clown, going with any conspiracy imaginable, says they set Biden up in this debate. Oh, stop saying
come
this.
on. Now you're turned on him?
Stop just doing this to make yourself look smarter than the room. Nobody set Biden up in the debate. This wasn't all a plot. They
want him out, Don.
They did it. Well, if they did it, they should have figured out how to get him out of there, that this is not going to be an easy thing just because of the debate. That was pretty flawed.
They should have just called in someone we know.
Yeah.
You.
But here's John Morgan.
Get him out. Get him out of here.
Of the John Morgan, the big personal injury guy.
When you sent this, I saw the name and I was like, is there a senator named John Morgan I don't know, or a congressman? Like, this is that John Morgan?
It's like bringing Mike Lindell on to talk about splitting the atom. Here's John Morgan, just to prove the point that everybody in the world is thrown into this conspiracy of what's happening with Biden. John Morgan's on CNN.
Morgan and Morgan.
And he thinks that if Biden is out, Kamala Harris is not the best pick. Here's what he said on CNN.
If they nominate somebody else to be president and vice president, there will be more friction and fighting over that than Joe Biden.
When the Biden campaign says he is the only person who can beat Donald Trump, do you think that's true?
No, I think 50 people could.
Do you think the vice president, Kamala Harris, is one of them?
If the vice president runs, if she became the nominee, I'm voting for her.
All
Would
right.
I think she'd be the best pick? No.
But who's the best pick in your view?
If it came to that, Andy Beshear, Shapiro, Whitmer, Newsom, Pritzker. If you just do anything, you'd go pick the battleground states, Pennsylvania and Michigan, Whitmer and the governor of Pennsylvania.
Fascinating. John Morgan, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Isn't there a backstory here? How was John Morgan, the guy chosen to be on this whole thing? It's just illustrating the point. Fetterman on with Jesse Waters last night. So there we go. Okay. Bottom line is, I'm still in the camp that Biden is going to survive till the election, to the convention at least. And the Obama heat, the way they're turning it up.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
The way they're turning it up is not going to do anything other than to get Biden even more intent to stick it out. One more. Here is Greg Gutfeld yesterday, and he's not trying to be funny. Gutfeld making a great point about Kamala Harris, that we don't take away from this. Maybe there is hope in America, that meritocracy is still what America's all about. Here's Gutfeld.
The cognitive test is a sore point. Why doesn't Joe just settle it? Because he knows he can't. It's like asking Hunter to pee in the cup.
Right.
The cup gets the clap. You know, I love it's delicious irony, Harold, that what stands in the way of an administration soaking in DEI is an old, white, angry man, a Democrat, not a Republican, a liberal progressive, not a country clubbing conservative. And the fact that they don't have a deep bench and the least talented candidate, the one they have the least amount of confidence in, is a black female who was chosen for this moment. This is a pure, unadulterated victory for the concept, Harold, of meritocracy in your face, Harold.
It absolutely is, aside from the humor, absolutely is that they just couldn't easily tag in Kamala Harris, expecting her to do well, expecting her to win history and all that. They know it, and they don't. All right, 855-839-1210. Wesley Hunt, congressman, friend of the show, is going to be on next. Going to ask him about this Prove Your Citizenship bill, which I support, was passed in the House, might not be passed in the Senate. Democrats saying it's Jim Crow if you have to prove that you're a citizen. 855-839-1210. We'll talk with Congressman Wesley Hunt next on Talk Radio 1210.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A drier air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly sunny, still hot, but not quite as humid, with a high of around 90. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low 73. And for Friday, mostly cloudy with some heavy showers around with a high 84.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Was just down the shore with my kids making summer memories. It's so much fun. Please, if a summer vacation seems unaffordable this year, don't give it up. Book a stay at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. They make getting away affordable and possible. They give you those summer memories. Book a July midweek stay and you will receive resort credits. The longer you stay, the more you get in resort credits. Stay 3 nights, get $60 a night in resort credits. Stay 5 nights, get $70 a night. Stay 7 nights, get $80 a night in resort credits, and you can use them for food and beverages. You can use them to take your family on a whale-watching boat cruise, pool bar, beach concession stand. It's up to you. And here's the best part. They offer guest rooms, suites, and townhouses equipped with a kitchenette, so it's like renting a shore home, but with all the amenities and conveniences of a full-service resort. Skip packing the sheets and towels, but enjoy the conveniences of a private kitchenette, an outdoor pool, and an indoor pool. Book direct with them for the best rates and to get your resort credits. Offers good till July 18th, so book your stay today. They will sell out. 800-257-8550 or visit them at grandhotelcapemay.com.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano's show, one of our all-time favorites. It's a recent vintage when he paid a visit here to Philadelphia. He's been with us several times. Congressman Wesley Hunt, congressman from Texas, Houston area, 38th District. Is someone who is in the center of any number of things that we're interested in. Let's go to the congressman. Congressman, welcome back to Philly. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank y'all for having me. You know it's a pleasure. I feel like Philly's becoming my second home from Houston, man. I love it.
We love to do that. So first, before we get to President Biden, any of that stuff, really interested both. It's the right thing to do and the politically right thing to do, this vote on proving your citizenship. The other side, you have to sit there and hear that this is Jim Crow 2.0 and stuff like this. Why is it relatively easy to prove your citizenship, and why should we demand that?
It's extraordinarily easy, and everyone should want to do that. And I want to tell you this. I'm so glad that President Trump is leaning in on this, because we have got to have a free and fair elections. And we have 11 million people, 11 million illegal immigrants currently in this country. And I can assure you the Democrats are going to try to get them to vote for this, to get them to vote in this next election. So we have to be vigilant about this, and we have to let the American people know that this is coming, and we have to do everything in our power to stop it. And again, President Trump's all over this because he knows that there's certainly a voter integrity issue that we're dealing with, and the idea that people have to prove that they are citizens in this country in order to vote in our federal elections should be paramount for every person in this country. And a couple of weeks ago, I talked about having 6 forms of government-issued ID. I also hear them talking about this is Jim Crow 2.0. Let me tell you about Jim Crow. So my parents grew up in Jim Crow. My great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation. The insinuation that we are still living in Jim Crow today is utterly ridiculous. It is disrespectful to those that grew up in a very rough time in this country. We are over it. I don't care what race, religion, color, or creed you are, you must prove that you are a citizen to vote. And the idea the Democrats keep bringing up race and race baiting everyone into this, calling us xenophobic or calling us racist, is ridiculous. And I've been black for a very long time. I am a soft Republican. I am a conservative. I call myself a MAGA Republican that supports President Trump. So if you're going to call me racist, and I've been black for as long as most of these Democrats have been, you are wrong. And the reason why I'm standing up so strongly against this is because I want to get back to talking about American issues and what it means to be just that. It's not about the color of your skin. It's about electing the right person that won fair and square. So the SAFE Act is a step to do that and to elucidate the entire country to the idea that Democrats are absolutely going to push to have 11 million people potentially vote in this next election, and that is ridiculous.
Absolutely. And you know what it's doing to the political part, or I think the moral part. With our listeners, Congressman, it's reassuring them that guys like you and others that we trust are on this. It's hard because Democrats want to cheat. They want to do shenanigans. They want to do anything. I'm in Philadelphia, the capital of this. And guys like you are sending the message, and so's the RNC, that we are on it and we're trying to close down every one of these things so that we're not shocked as we were in 2020.
So let me tell you something, too, sir. I want the listeners to hear this. I'm an Apache helicopter pilot. I have fought for this country. I have fought for the people in this country to have free and fair elections. So what you have on your hands is somebody that wants to send some missiles downrange and let them know what time it is. I don't want to hear about race anymore. What I want is for everybody to understand there are fighters up here. Me and Byron Donalds are spearheading the idea that this country can only exist with free and fair elections. We're going to keep fighting. And the one thing that our party has not done for the past year and a half is fight. I know we only have a 3 or 4 seat majority depending on the day. I know it's been tough. I know we've been through a couple of speakers of the House. But please keep in mind that there are members of Congress that know exactly what's going on in this country, and these people are trying to erode it and destroy it from within. We will continue to fight tooth and nail to get this done. This is a very interesting time in American history. I view this as a time of the Revolutionary War where people were persecuted for standing up for what was right. People lost their money. People lost their families. People were killed to stand up for what was right. That's what we are doing. We are fighting for this, and this is our revolutionary moment to a life that we have not seen in generations in this country. So please know, I know sometimes we have some real squishy Republicans out there that don't want to fight, but that's not all of us. We are in this thing.
Exactly. Let's talk your sense. You're inside the Congress. You see people, and I'm sure you might even have some Democrats who, off the record, whatever, tell you what's going on. I'm in the camp that thinks that Joe Biden, sensing the Obamas are trying to force him out through these surrogates and others, is going to fight even harder. I know he's got a lot of things against him, but I think he's got the delegates. How do you see it shaping up?
I see it as run, Joe, run.
Exactly.
That's what we want. And after watching that dumpster fire of a debate the other day, and America watched it, this is the worst polling president at this point that we have seen in the history of this country, in modern history, since we've ever started polling. And by the way, if you're bringing Kamala Harris, well, all right, we'll take that too. But what we really want is for Joe Biden to run against our president and let the world see exactly how much better we are going to be with President Trump at the helm, how much stronger we are going to be at the helm. I am really glad that he has a delegate. And quite frankly, I don't really care or give a damn what the Obamas think. If Joe Biden still wants to run, and I say my hat's off to him, man, we need you in this fight, Joe.
Absolutely. We're in agreement. We'll take him to the airport here. Now, another
stairs, though.
Were you the originator of the story getting out there of Trump and the Taliban with Mike Pompeo and how he stood them down?
Absolutely. That was one hell of a story, and I was able to tell it on Sage Steele's podcast with Byron Donalds. And the story is basically this. It was Mike Pompeo, and it was President Trump and a translator for the Taliban were in a room, and he was negotiating and having a conversation with Taliban leadership. And he told them that we are going to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And if you don't hear what I'm saying, and if you harm a single American, I'm going to kill you. And then he pulled out a photo image of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him and walked out. Do you know for the next 18 months, not a single American was killed in Afghanistan. And when you juxtapose what happened there to the absolute disaster that was the withdrawal for Biden from Afghanistan just a few years ago, what you found out very quickly is that we are not respected. People don't care about America anymore because we don't have any teeth. And I'm gonna tell you something. They fear President Trump. They respected President Trump. Even let's actually talk about that. This is a man that moved the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. This is a man that had peace in the Middle East. This is a man that shut down Vladimir Putin. Xi Jinping respected us. The world respected us. And it's stories like that that can absolutely articulate the importance of having strength at the top of the ticket and having strength back in America. Keep in mind, when America is strong, the world is safer. America is weak, and now we're on the verge of World War III.
I watched that with Sage, and when I saw you tell that, I just said, oh, God, I can hardly wait till the next time we get you on to retell it.
It's a great story,
given your background, and that's so Trumpian, and doesn't it prove, too, Congressman, that we hear all the time, well, they don't care about dying. They care about dying, too. The head of the Taliban may tell his followers they're going to heaven or whatever, but he doesn't want to die. That's the way it always works. You go after him and you tell him what's going to happen. It matters.
That's correct. And I think one of the best statements that President made in the last couple of years was he was on an interview on CNN. And you know what he talked about? He talked about people not dying. And when America is strong, then people around the world don't die. And that goes to Taliban leadership and all of his minions. You know what? Because we don't want fighting anywhere in this world. And that's a part of what America has to do to lead from the front. I keep saying this. When America is strong, when President Trump gets back, you watch how fast the world shakes up because they don't want to deal with that smoke. And this is why this election is so important. It's far more than just the American people. It's far more than what's happening at the border and what's happening with inflation and what's happening with safety in this country and what's happening with the killing of our domestic energy production. Keep in mind, we were actually at one time not energy independent, we were energy dominant. So when he comes back, I can assure you all this will pop right back into shape. And I'm guessing by the time he takes office and gets sworn in January, let me tell you something, we're going to have world peace.
Absolutely. Any speaking role? You'll be at the convention, of course. Any speaking role for you?
I will be at the convention. I will be there to support President Trump. I have no idea about any speaking roles at this moment. I serve at the pleasure of the president. So whatever he wants, I will certainly be there cheering him on to make sure that he is our 47th president.
When do we see you in Philadelphia again? We want to meet you, have you in studio here. We'll put out all the Philadelphia delicacies, or what you'd rather eat, whatever it might be.
Cigar for you?
Yeah, a cigar. Well,
well, I don't know if we could do that.
Yeah, we would try here, yes.
President Trump has sent me to Philly 2 or 3 times, actually, in the last few months. I'm happy to go whenever he asks me to go again. But I will tell you tonight, I will be doing a speech in Allentown. It's the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. So, again, I'm telling you something. Now, I got to say, the Keystone State and me, we're getting real tight these days.
Absolutely.
But I love Philly. I will let you know next time we'll be there. My guess is it won't be too long.
All right, Congressman, it's a date. Thank you. Have a great convention. Thanks for joining us.
God bless you, sir. Thank you for having me on anytime. Thank you so much.
All right, Dan, I love that story. We told it the other day with Sage Steele. We played it. It sounds very true, very Trumpian. And, the Taliban leader, these guys tell other people to die. They don't want to die. And Trump, Soleimani, and any number of, I forget the other crazy, the head of ISIS that they took out, they posture. They tell these others, you'll be with God, whatever, virgins, the whole deal. They don't want to join them, though. And all Trump got out of that is, no, you're not going to harm any American. We want to pull out. So it's in your interest to continue to compare that to Biden on this.
Wasn't that al-Baghdadi?
Yeah, al-Baghdadi. That's the other.
If
Yes.
you search Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi,
Yeah.
It comes back Iraqi teacher. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Look it up. Go Google al-Baghdadi.
Yeah, well, you know what? He could have risen in the NEA based upon the speech
Apparently,
the other day. Yeah, he would have been right there. That's still the guess, though, Dan. Becky Pringle in studio, particularly if she got wound up.
I thought you were saying Baghdadi was a guess.
No. Becky Pringle and started all the things.
All the things! All the things! All the things! We are the NEA! We are the NEA! We must do this work!
Oh, there's so many of her now.
Yeah, I like that. That's even better. Now, that would be the guess, particularly given the education background and everything else.
And that's what we do!
All right, 855-839-1210. You get in. Hit us on the side question. What's that all-time book play you were forced to read today? The great To Kill a Mockingbird was published. Hit us with one that you were forced to read. Dan seems like he has a lot of them. We all have some.
I have tons.
All I remember, Dan, we went to Newman. There were stories of these priests. That's back when they were able to. I saw one kid knocked out in class.
Oh,
he's literally just knocked him out and continued with the lesson. The kid's groggy, rolling on the ground. With Norbertine guy, huge. He was a lineman. He played for Green Bay. Then he decided to become a priest. So
was that Joe Biden's guy?
Yeah. So it was something about Captain Courageous. I think we had to read. And one kid just wrote a sentence fragment, the ghost dog, something like that. Coco was his last name, I think. And the priest stood up. It was in a lab for an English class. I don't know why. Stood up on one of those lab things, you're doing things on, and started screaming the ghost dog.
Oh, my God.
We're freshmen. We're Father Rene Petit. We're freshmen. We're
He's not very petite.
No, he was a great English teacher, but, it took a while to get used to this. And you're a freshman. They can do anything they want. It's hand-to-hand combat here. All right, so the Captain's Courageous is one I remember. His with that all-time.
Bro Clem has an interesting one.
Yes.
Death of a Salesman.
Death of a Salesman?
Yeah, because the entire play can be summed up with one thought. Life sucks, then you die.
Oh, my.
It's true. It's
no, come on. Death of a Salesman's a great play. What's the line there? Hey, Willie, do you hear something in the elevator?
Not that intelligent.
The line will come. Willie Loman. Come on. Willie Loman's a great character. I reject that one. You got to come with better than that. 855-839-1210. You get in. Let's talk Captain Chucky's for a moment.
The only thing you got in this world is what you can sell.
No, that's not the line. It's a pithier line than that.
You don't know that?
Somebody will come to us.
After all the highways and the trains and the appointments and the years, you end up worth more dead than alive?
No.
I'm just Googling quotes here.
No. I'll think about it. Let me tell you about.
A small man can be just as exhausted as a great man.
Oh, God. Joe Biden said that, too. All right. Summertime is here, and the living is easy. All you need for summer gatherings is easy with one call, one stop. Captain Chucky's. Get that wild shrimp scampi ravioli. Brand new. Ro and I have been sampling it. Tremendous. Another big hit. Chucky's teams up with Vera Pasta, and now they have lobster, crab, and now wild shrimp ravioli. And remember, order that brand new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake, the Bang Bang Crab Cake, the delicious, creamy 5-ounce lump breaded crab cake with a kick. For those who like to spice it up with some heat, check stores for availability. Perfect time, too, to remind you about all the Chucky's offerings, desserts, sides. the stuffed mushrooms, appetizers, soups, and literally a crab cake for everybody. All that you want. They only use the highest quality ingredients. So their Gulf shrimp, huge hit, always wild caught, never farm raised. My favorite, gotta have it on your table. Just try it once, the delicious Dom Rolls. So visit Captain Chucky's today, location near you, welovecrabcakes.com. That's where you go, welovecrabcakes.com. If you're headed to the Jersey Shore, go to CaptainChucky'sAtTheShore.com.
There's no need to wait. The time is always right at Colonial Hyundai. Hi, it's John Ashdale, the Cars Are. Today's the best day to buy a new car at Colonial. We have over 200 vehicles in stock. New Palisades, Konas, Tucsons, and the exciting EVs that have taken the world by storm, the Ioniq 5 and 6. We understand that everyone's needs, budgets, and challenges are different. But here at Colonial, we take the stress out of buying a new car. Big incentives, like $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed, no matter the condition. The best financing in the business, no matter your credit, with rates as low as 0%. Plus, we streamline the buying process so you can be in and out of our dealership in no time without any unnecessary hassle or waiting. So why wait? Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com or visit us on Lincoln Highway in Downtown. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
0% financing applies on select 2024 new Hyundai models. $6,500 for your trade, not available on EVs. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for more details.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Look at you. Your life is under control. Errands? Done. Groceries? Got 'em. It's a good time to give yourself a reward. You know the one. Your favorite tasty cake treat. Is it the delicious crimpet or the mouthwatering candy cake? No matter where you are, choose what feels right and enjoy. You've earned it, and you know you deserve it. Tasty cake, accept no substitutes.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better.
You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. jabraenhance.com/try.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase them, Cherry Hill Volvo.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows, and you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, time to your Giordano show. Welcome in. So, for quite a while, I've told you, and I remember when this happened, we were all on it, but I think it's ongoing. These stuffed shirt historians, John Meacham, Michael Bashos, and Douglas Brinkley. So Brinkley, all the advisors to President Biden, was on with Jim Acosta, of all people, today, and talking about his solution to this whole thing with Biden. Here's Douglas Brinkley telling us what Biden should do.
I mean, unless he's completely insular and oblivious to American political culture, their drumbeat is for him to leave. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. A sitting president that was in good stead, a 90-minute horrific debate, and now at least 50% of the Democratic Party, I say more than that, probably closer to 65% are saying, please go, go, go.
Yeah.
And like an old Herman Melville story, Biden is saying, I prefer not to. I prefer not to leave, and he keeps digging in. But I think he'll have to probably go in the end. And Biden has always been kind of not as much loved as he might think. It's always a problem. I mean, LBJ had to live up to John F. Kennedy, and Joe Biden's had to live up to Barack Obama. And at this moment in time, that deep wellspring of love for Biden is only surface level.
All right, and went on to say what he should do right now, say he's stepping down and Kamala Harris is president. He'll just be advising her. And this way, they'll go to the convention with President Kamala Harris. There is zero chance of these stuffed shirts getting that done with the Bidens. You got to be kidding me. All right, here's what Brinkley said.
Biden is only surface level.
And just quickly, Doug, finally, I mean, folks are saying, well, if Biden jumps out, it's like 1968 all over again, and it's going to be a big mess for the party. And so, does that necessarily have to be the case? I mean, that was a long time ago.
Jim, there's no history repeating itself like that in 68. Yeah. If Biden tomorrow said I'm stepping down and Kamala Harris is president, I'm going back to Delaware and I'll be giving her my advice. I'm the highest thing there is in the land, a private citizen. That's the kind of thing Jefferson would say. That's the kind of thing, Theodore Roosevelt would say. He would look good, Biden, and he would have put the first woman president of the U.S. in, and then Chicago would be about who's running with Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is the easiest person to inherit those delegates and to assume the donor money.
Is that what you think he should do? I don't mean to interrupt, Doug.
I think he should.
You think he should step down?
I think yes, I do, because how do you win when your entire party is pleading with you to step aside? Yes, there are groups, particularly certain AOC.
Yeah.
I know is sticking
Okay,
behind.
Douglas, thank you very much. Get John Meacham in here. All right, here's where we're going in the 1 o'clock hour. A couple things. So this outfit of Jewish voters for Trump, for Biden, was on a Zoom call, and the tape got released, and they named the Brain Trust, their words, who are the three really running the country around Biden. I'll give you those three people. Can you guess? No, Hunter's not one of them. They didn't say Hunter. They knew, don't go there. And Charlie Giroux is an old friend, great strategist, and was one of the so-called unelected electors. Here's what Trump is going to do. President Trump, it came out today, is going to have the alternate electors slates, electoral college, right, from the swing states in 2020 be the block of voters that officially puts them over the top, I guess on Tuesday, is it whatever day it is coming up, as the nominee of the Republican Party. And the media on the last hour is just going nuts, saying this is exactly election denialism. All right, Jerome will explain before you get hit with all this other stuff that the media is putting out. He actually was one of those alternate electors here in Pennsylvania. All right, sit back and enjoy this one with Dom and Dan on Talk Radio 1210.
Don't count on summer heat to melt away those extra pounds. That doesn't work. But here's something that does work, and that's NJ Diet. For over a decade, NJ Diet has helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. No shots, no prepackaged meals, and no surgery. NJ Diet is fully supervised every step of the way to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations close by are available from anywhere with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. Lose the weight for good.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like, 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you tired of that dated old kitchen or bathroom? Ready for a refresh? Then you need to give Kitchen Magic a call. They've been transforming spaces quickly, beautifully, and affordably since 1979. From refacing to custom cabinets, backsplash counters, yes, you can get the kitchen you want now, right now. They're offering 12 months of no payments, no interest financing, with 10% off your remodel. Schedule your free in-home design consultation today at kitchenmagic.com. That's kitchenmagic.com.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. If you drive a car, you want it to last a long time and not cost you lots of money in the long run. You need to get your car serviced at United Tire and Service. I get my car serviced at one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. You should too. Right now, get an oil change on any make or model, and they'll do a free summer trip check so you're ready to hit the road. 20-point safety check, brakes, belts, important fluid levels, lights, even the spare tire. To find the location nearest you, go to UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it's Dom time. Old friend that we've had on many times over the years. In fact, Danny was the quarterback, essentially, of an event we were doing over in Baderwood, over there in Montgomery County, in which I had gotten, well, I didn't lie, I'll tell you that. I told the guy what I was going to do, but he mustn't have understood. I was able to get the movie theater to run Stolen Honor about John Kerry. It goes all the way back to that. And when the guy who owned the shopping center found out, all hell broke loose. Because we were bringing in people who were actually Swift boat veterans.
Oy.
Even, I believe they had armed people with them to bring them in.
Was this like during the campaign?
Yes, it was at the height of it, with like a week or 2 weeks left to be showing the film in Swing State, Pennsylvania, that exposed John Kerry. I mean, I remember there were reports nationally that some places where they showed it, they tried to burn it down. That's how intense it was. Well, he was the point person on this thing. He is the CEO of Quantum Communications, writer for The Hill, Penn Live, and Real Clear News, appears all over the place. He is wise, all-knowing Charlie Giroux, joining us in Philadelphia again. Let's go.
John, my mom is so happy that you got that last part in.
Well, good. I'm glad. Well, I read it just as the script came from Dan. Exactly right. That's a long. We got to cut that down.
No, don't expose the secrets. Come on.
We don't have enough screen.
Just as she wrote it.
We don't have enough screen space here to say
all
that.
eyes, all knowing.
Yeah. All right. So Charlie, I did not know about this. You can tell us if you did. That President Trump, and I'm not advising to do this, but you can tell me if there's an upside, he is going to have when he's nominated. The voters that put him over the top, as I understand it, are going to be the alternate electors from the swing states. That people remember back to that in 2020. And at one point, you were one of them. Is that the Trump plan, first of all, as you understand it?
I don't know that to be the case, Dom. I've heard rumors and only that to that effect. But, yes, I was one of the alternate electors. I do not want to hear the term fake because we weren't fake in any way.
Okay. I believe that's happening. So, first of all, before we get to that part in 2020, Charlie, why do this? What would be the upside? Is there an upside to doing this?
You know, the convention, Dom, is going to be the best one I've ever attended. And as you may know, I have been to 13 national conventions, more than any other Pennsylvanian. This is going to show the enthusiasm gap between the Democrats who are, crawling on their bellies right now and the Republicans who are running to the victory flag. Any element that they want to introduce, I'm sure is well thought out. I mean, Susie Wiles and Chris Lasavito and the people that are putting this convention together have, from every vantage point, done it methodically, seriously, thoughtfully. And so, whatever they're thinking, I'm sure is a good thought.
All right. Well, look, it is going to be exciting when you have Amber Rose speaking there, for example. A convention I thought was well put together to the point of making it exciting, Charlie. The Clinton convention where they had the 7th grader who was corrected by Dan Quayle about spelling potato up there speaking. That's exactly what I would do. I mean, you can't go any better than that. Kid was an all-time speaker, 7th grader. But, Charlie...
You're tough, Tom, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So, Charlie, this term, fake electors, and I believe some people may have even gone to jail. Tell me what the idea was. You were an alternate here in Pennsylvania. What it was an alternate elector? Why was that in place?
Because there still were several, and I underline several, serious cases winding their way through the courts, both at the state and federal level. And we were concerned that if a court came back and said the Biden slate of electors is not legitimate, that Pennsylvania would be without the ability to cast its electoral votes. So we met, cast our votes for President Trump and for Vice President Pence, and said that if a court of competent jurisdiction ruled that the Biden electors were not eligible to cast their votes in the Electoral College, that we cast ours in their place.
How often does that happen? We know in 2020, I know it goes back in Hawaii where the Kennedys outmaneuvered.
Yeah, 1960.
Yeah, outmaneuvered Richard Nixon by hook or by crook, I guess, and did something like this. Is it rare for this to happen, this alternate electors thing?
Well, yeah, it is rare because most elections aren't razor-thin majorities. I mean, we've had one in our lifetime, maybe two if you count the 1960 election, but then you've got to flop back to 1876 to find one that was so razor-thin. So, yeah, it is rare.
So it's not unlawful. It's not unprecedented, but I have a gathering stack of stuff here for the media, Charlie, going to go down Broadway with this, and they'll probably be calling upon people like you and others. What's the best response to this? It's cogent and quick and can put a rest to it. What do you say?
Oh, I think there are two. One, it's very clear that the media wants to do two things. They want to take as much attention away from Joe Biden and his problems as they possibly can, and they want to take as much attention off this great convention that they can. So they're going to look for these little rabbit trails to run down and, oh, look over here and look over there, instead of seeing the big picture of America standing up and saying, this is what we want our country to be. This is who we want for our president, et cetera. The other two things, Dom, is I read one report where it says the GOP had hand-picked delegates. Well, the delegates are elected by the people. I wasn't hand-picked by anybody. I got 45,000 votes in order to become a delegate to the convention. So, I'm not sure what some of these media reports are trying to say.
Yeah, we're going to expect an awful lot of that. So give us a preview of the convention. You talked about excitement. I agree. That'll be the case. The VP choice. Let's talk the VP choice. First, do you have any? I've gone back and forth on several. We know that the first thing is do no harm. That always is a worriment. Although, Charlie, I think the Trump people this time around are much more buttoned up than in 2020, that are actually running the ground game and all that stuff. So who do you like?
They really are, Don. They really are.
Who do you like as VP?
And I'm with you. I've had several that I really like, and, both or all of the folks that I could see as a vice presidential candidate have their own individual strengths and own individual weaknesses. I personally kind of like Governor Burgum from North Dakota because he's managerial. If, God forbid, something were to happen to President Trump, he could take over immediately. There's no OJT for him. He's a successful business person, much like Donald Trump. His success came in the private sector. I also like Tim Scott, not only because of his ethnic background and the fact that he's a black American, but because he has a great story. I like those. As you know, I like to think I have one as well. And I think an appeal to the minority communities, both black, Asian, and Latino, is really important. And Donald Trump is doing so well with those constituencies that anything that can enhance that, I think, is going to be valuable to him on his ticket.
Now, the first thing I would look at, Charlie, though, because and I know Trump is, or I believe he is, Trump has done a masterful job on abortion. The platform is slimmed down. There's no national right-to-life bill. There's none of that. He's not going to get beaten on that. Several of these guys, though, have taken a pretty tough stance in the past based upon present day on that. How big of a consideration is that?
Well, the Republican Party has historically been and continues to be a pro-life party. We don't think that America is made better by having more abortions. The Democrats do. They basically believe that you should have an abortion at any time for any reason, paid for by the taxpayers. That's a radical position.
All right, well, Charlie, let me challenge you, though. If any of these guys at any point recently, particularly, had said no exceptions except the life of the mother, I'm telling you, if I'm sitting there, I have to pause a long time. I can't endorse that guy as a VP because I know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, that's a choice that President Trump has to make. He's made his position on the issue very clear, and I think it's a considered one and a good one politically. It's not one that I necessarily think is the best public policy, but it's a winning position politically.
We're talking with Charlie Giroux. So, Charlie, we got a text from Dave McCormick, or at least his people, I think it was Dave, about the new polling, several polls out today. Casey McCormick closing. He's got a lot of money. And part of the reason is the Biden factor, I think, is seeping onto other Democrats slightly at this point. How do you see McCormick Casey?
I think that Dave McCormick's going to win. Of the candidates that we've put up against Bob Casey through the years, he clearly is the best one by a country mile. If you look at his resume, it is stellar. But more important, if you look at him as a man, Dom, he is the kind of person you want in the U.S. Senate. Frankly, I'd jump into a foxhole with Dave McCormick any day of the week. And I think you're right. The polling is now suggesting that there's a Biden effect, which is a trickle-down ballot, which is going to be very, very negative to Democrat Senate and congressional candidates. And frankly, I'm very happy about that.
Josh Shapiro, to me, is his superpower is he's the great masquerader. He's a progressive, without a doubt. He does want to get things done and all that. I think the strongest ticket for that's reasonable for Democrats is Harris, Josh Shapiro to win Pennsylvania. How much of a chance does he give them of winning Pennsylvania if he's the VP nominee?
Well, he gives them a zero chance of winning nationally, and that's what they're going to look at because to be very blunt, putting a Jew on the Democrat ticket right now is going to cause an uproar in that party because there is virulent anti-Semitism running up and down the leadership and the rank and file of the Democrat Party right now. It's why Joe Biden was so frightened about Michigan. There is just outrageous anti-Semitism. So I just can't imagine that the Democrats are going to say, let's put a Jewish candidate on a national ticket.
Wow. Well, let's probe that a little bit. So if it's Harris, who is it that helps them? Who should we be aware of that would give them the best shot?
Well, let me tell you, if it's Harris, they need a lot of help, Tom.
Well,
because
of course.
she, as you know, was a disaster as a candidate among Democrats. The Democrats don't like her.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not sure who can rescue that lifeboat and pull it back up to the surface. But, you've got a lot of folks around the country. I think Gavin Newsom wants to be at the top of that ticket. Whether or not he'd take a spot as number 2, I don't know. I really don't. I do think it would be fun, though, Dominic, if Gavin Newsom were on the ticket to watch the back channel conversations because, as you know, his ex-wife is now betrothed to Donald J. Trump Jr.
Well, yes, we've talked to her about that, and she says she was always a conservative, and he sort of was, too. That's okay. All right, well.
Kind of, sort of, Don.
Exactly. Well, Charlie, great stuff, and Dan's marking it down now, though. We definitely like to get you on several times from the convention as we see what happens day to day.
I'm happy to do it, Dom. I just want that introduction to be put in cement now.
All right, we got it.
One other quick thing. I missed you in Delaware County the other week where we were supposed to speak together. So I hope we get a chance to soon.
Okay, we will do. Oh, that's right, Charlie. Sorry about that. We'll get together soon. Thanks, Charlie.
Looking forward to it, Dom.
Very much.
Well. Bye-bye.
All right, Dan, he said it pretty bluntly there, and you said it the other day. Here I'm counting the chickens for Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Dan. So would Democrats actually say, nope, maybe not public. They're not going to say it publicly. Josh Shapiro's Jewish. We are anti-Jewish. We're anti-Semitic. We're anti-Israel. No way he'd be the VP choice. Or could they balance it by saying, well, wait a minute. Kamala Harris, though, is anti-Israel to make up for anything we want.
So there was a Dear John letter sent by the Democratic Socialists of America to AOC.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this, Tom.
No.
She's on the outs with the organization, the DSA, which holds a lot of power, allegedly, in the Democratic Party.
Okay.
You don't think so? Because they say many members have supported national endorsement while at the same time demanding that AOC demonstrate a higher level of commitment to Palestinian liberation, self-determination, the immediate end of the heinous genocide in Gaza committed by Israel. They're also upset with the AOC meeting of Jewish leaders over the issue of anti-Semitism. So there's definitely that true sect in the party that is going to be vocally against a Jewish candidate if they're going to speak out against one of their darlings, AOC, because she's not anti-Semitic enough for them.
Well, I just want to say, are the Inquirer and all these other news organizations, Dan, because logically, I don't have the polling they do. I don't know who hates whom or anything else. But if Harris is the ultimate nominee here, which is if Biden's out, she's a 75% chance or more to be the nominee. I don't care what anyone, that's what's going to happen. Okay, if that's the case, and they're going to turn down Josh Shapiro, who I think would win you Pennsylvania or give you an awfully good shot at doing it. My counter would be I'm going with Youngkin to win Virginia. And I'm seeing more and more, Dan, if I had to predict, well, we'll give the final prediction tomorrow. If you had to predict right now, who's going to be the VP choice? Nobody?
Dr. Ben.
You still say Ben Carson.
I think he let it slip, Tom.
All right.
Go back and listeners, we had him on. Go listen to the interview that's posted, Odyssey, anywhere you can find podcasts. At one point, he accidentally lets it slip that says, and I hope they elect me again this time.
All right, I'll ask listeners, not who you want or who is it going to be. You heard Charlie Giroux. I don't think quite I agree with him on the reality of some of this on the Republican side. Vance has an abortion issue. He's got Don Trump Jr. pitching him. He's great on TV. I'm giving you all the things Trump would look at. All right? Other than Vance at this point, I still don't see Rubio. Charlie Giroux mentioned Burgum. Apparently, I don't know how, Dan, That guy's got a lot of suasion inside Trump world, Burgum. I don't see it, don't quite understand it, but that's where we are. He'd be capable, you would think, as a president. There's that.
Trump Jr. or someone said recently, I think it was Trump Jr., that he'd be great as the Department of Energy.
That's what you do, right.
The Secretary of Energy.
Yeah, he's all in for Vance, and that's Vance's biggest card here. If the polling is right, I still think the choice will be Youngkin. All right? I think Trump could be enamored with the idea, man, we can win Virginia. 855-839-1210, you get on board. With the Democrat Party, let's say I'm wrong, which I'm still holding out. With Biden, I think it's going to be a long struggle. I don't think he's going to go gently into that good night. Now, I'll tell you tomorrow, if it's brutal today with the press conference, then we could see Biden leaving. It would just be too much. But it would have to be beyond belief bad today. It'd have to be debate bad, which I don't think it will be. They control more stuff here. It's not the same kind of thing. There could be moments today that are difficult. I don't think it'll be that bad. I still think he sticks. And the more Obama is pushing with all these sycophants, the more the Bidens are going to band together. So coming up, this group, Jewish Voters for Biden, was on a Zoom call pitching Biden's going to stick in all this and telling us there are 3 capable brain trust people, Dan, around him that are running the country, making decisions. I'll give you the names of the 3. No, it's not Hunter Biden. My God, can you imagine, Dan, if you're sent out to say, well, Hunter Biden's in charge of interdicting drugs? 855-839-1210. Hit us on the side question, too. Give us that all-time wretched book you were forced to read on Talk Radio 1210.
How did your son or daughter do in school this year? These summer months is the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Prepare your student for back to school now. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders like high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Help your students start strong. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, it is Dom time. So you have this Biden group trying to batten down the hatches, talking to Jewish voters. Gets leaked out, the tape of this Zoom call. And the person involved, the leader of this, says, well, I want to reassure you. Of course, we have President Biden, but then we have the brain trust, which is running the country. You know, not just the day-to-day, but real power. And that consists of Dr. Jill Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and the second gentleman. What the heck is that guy doing in there, Dan?
It's a double date.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Bidens and them, so they're going out. They're going to be on a double date. Why not?
Red wine.
Yeah, why not talk about big things affecting all of our lives? My God. Kamala, Dr. Jill Biden, and the second gentleman. This is the best they have. This is what they're leaking out. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board.
Did you see what Jen Psaki said?
Yeah, she basically started a miniature throw him overboard. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, she also said that struggles for Harris come because the country's both sexist and racist.
Oh, yeah. And yesterday we were told she's hysterical and men don't like funny women because they're going to mock us in bed. That's going to be their strategy. Let's get that male vote going. Oh, my God. All right. So side question today. The day that To Kill a Mockingbird was published, hit us with that all-time book that you were for it. Kill a Mockingbird's great, but the worst along the way. We've had some good suggestions on YouTube, Dan, Rowe, me. Love to get yours. But that's the brain trust. That's the three that are out there. And you heard Charlie Giroux. With the Democrat Party, I mean, he and Dan are in agreement on this. I'm not so sure. They have so many people that are anti-Israel, then a number of them that are also anti-Semitic, let's face it. That somebody as the Jewish VP candidate, you know, is the media, you know what I'm getting, is the media going to report this? In the past, it would be said, yeah, it's those Republicans, it's those conservatives, it's those people out in rural America. You're never going to see a Jewish president because of them. When really, it's inside the Democratic Party. I'd have to weigh that a lot. Who else is going to, I'm not saying it's a sure thing Shapiro would win Pennsylvania, but he is polling-wise a popular politician, without a doubt. He would probably look more competent than Kamala Harris. Not hard, I realize. They really say, nope, we're not going to do that. The biggest swing state, the thing that could determine it, because vast parts of our party, and he's very pro-Israel. The only thing maybe I agree with him, we're not going to engage in that. Nope, can't have that. Pick somebody else.
I don't think they protest vote him or anything. I just think people just don't go to the polls for him. You know, they just don't show up and they just lose a big
Oh, that's what you're saying. So you think they wouldn't put him on the ticket because that's what they know will happen.
Yeah. They're just going to drop voters.
Well, he won Pennsylvania. Remember, Dan, what I'm saying here with Shapiro, I'm not worried so much.
He won Pennsylvania before all this craziness from this BDS movement has popped in the progressive sector.
I'm centered on Pennsylvania. I believe you win Pennsylvania, you're going to be president. But the other swing states, he would really hurt. In Michigan, he would hurt. I mean, they're anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, forces in Michigan.
I mean, there's a whole town dedicated to it. Right?
Yeah, right. Rashida Tlaib and Omar with Josh Shapiro on the ticket. But I think he could help you win Pennsylvania. All right, Richard in Westchester's next on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Richard, afternoon.
Hi, I actually agree with Dan on this business because I think he may win you Pennsylvania, but he's going to lose you Michigan, and then he's going to put Minnesota more in play. And so you pick up one and lose two. I think they're not going to put him on the ticket.
Well, what I'm interested in, too, other than that, Richard, you may be right, is the media going to cover this fairly? You know, that was always the rub. Somebody Jewish can't
It will never be fair.
Yeah, I mean, somebody Jewish can't be president because of all these knuckle-dragging conservatives, rural America. From really, you two may be right, particularly Michigan. I think he would be incredibly costly. But she is so anti-Israel, and if unleashed and is actually the presidential nominee, she's going to be more wildly anti-Israel.
That's why I don't understand why any Jewish person would vote for Biden. I have given up. But they're more ideologues than they are Jews, I think.
Well,
anyway,
it's the age-old thing. We say it every time. You're right. It's a group that the Democrat Party long ago has left. Why continue to do this? It's almost unexplainable. Yeah. What's your book?
Well, Beowulf. Why do we have to read Beowulf? You can't even understand it. Just tell me the moral of the story, and I'll go on to Shakespeare.
All right, thank you. Beowulf is a very good one, Dan, and I don't know that Beowulf is still being read. I'd be curious if you've seen your kids out there. We have a teacher. What still has survived?
It's one of the most important and often translated works of Old English literature. Consists of 3,182 alliterative lines.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beowulf is tough reading. Canterbury Tales, tough reading, too. Not Shakespeare, though. See, we're distinguishing it from Shakespeare. Bruce in the Northeast, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Bruce, afternoon.
Dom, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. I got a little confused on the question, and I don't know whether it's too late, but I listed it as my favorite book. And since I'm on the phone here, I wanted to say my favorite book is titled Somewhere Along the Way, and it's an unpublished novel that I've written. And
yeah?
Maybe you can help me out on this. Just a little backstory here. Maybe you or one of your listeners can help me. It's unpublished, but it's ready to go, and I'm in need of a publisher or somebody who knows how to self-publish the book. And it's like a lifelong dream of mine, and I don't have the knowledge or skills. But if anybody out there listening, they can contact the
What's the synopsis,
station.
Bruce?
What's that?
What's the synopsis, the plot, in a 2-sentence?
Yeah, it's a novel, and it's basically like young love, coming-of-age story in the late 60s, set in Philadelphia, mentions all the landmarks, everything has to... And eventually it morphs into government plots and conspiracies and this and that. And it's really good. I never thought I would write it on one of these amateurs, And I actually wrote it out longhand, and I hired a college student, this is a few years back, and we met a couple times a week. She was brilliant. She put it on format and corrections and cleaned it up real good. And it's a real novel, real good, and it's ready to go. But like I said, I don't know the industry.
All right, I'll put you on hold, Bruce. I'll put you on hold. Just leave, Dan, if we have Bruce's phone number.
Yeah, I got his info.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody, like Bruce is a great guy, one of our real stalwarts, I might have a thought or two. I don't have a direct contact on this. But if you know that, you can let Jim know, and we'll pass it on to Bruce, without a doubt. Okay. Coming up. More of your calls, and boy, Harrisburg is really busy with all the nonsense. They still don't have a budget. But State Representative Donna Sheeran, in the middle of all this is on my mind, put in an amendment to a bill that had passed that would make it so much easier to stop squatters. And Democrats are not going to allow that to happen in Harrisburg. All right, I'll tell you. Now, how big is this squatter problem? Well, I'm not sure how big it is. Raw numbers. All that I know is, though, we've had a guy on and actually has a TV show around it. More and more of it is happening. And it's just incredible that police departments and others just stand there and say there's nothing we can do about it. Her bill would solve that. It would give them the force of law to kick them the hell out. Just imagine yourself. I can't imagine myself. We're all busy. We got lives, all things going on. That half of your day spent trying to figure out how to get squatters out of your own house. I just see it as a sign, again, of progressivism. That's how we've gotten to this point where people believe, even fancy multi-million dollar houses, they're doing this. All right, so 855-839-1210. Keep the calls coming. And at 2 o'clock, we're going to talk with the Fitzgerald family. We have an update. We had them on yesterday toward the end of the show. Really not enough time to talk about the news conference they did around Larry Krasner. There's more stories today about Krasner claiming, well, he looked at this through experts. That's why there can be no death penalty. I don't even think this guy who killed Sergeant Fitzgerald, I don't even think he's going to get life imprisonment. I just don't see it happening. That's how bad this is. It is unimaginable that we're living under this kind of tyranny. All right, but I'd love to get you on board at 855-839-1210. Hey, I've told you for years about my friend, dentist, board-certified prosthodontist extraordinaire, Dr. Robert Bentz in the Bentz Dental Group. Now, I've started telling you about my experience over the years with Dr. Bentz, including a recent one, permanent tooth put in, no problem. You know, dentistry is pretty, but it's not good at comfort, fit, and the first time around. You know, not wasting your time, having to go through a lot of nonsense. It is with Dr. Bentz. He and his staff, their expertise, and he's always emphasized this great infrastructure, the 3D printers, people he has working on your teeth. It's flawless. It is tremendous. But the broader thing, making you comfortable that whatever the dental problem is or you think it is, you don't have to be afraid of this. They're going to get you through it. They're going to make it as painless and as efficient for you as possible. That's the very best. That's the type of dentist that I have and I want you to have. It's the Bentz Dental Group. You can find them at bentzdentalgroup.com or call and get that initial look-see at 610-272-6949. bentzdentalgroup.com, 610-272-6949.
Weather is sponsored by United Tire.
A drier air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly sunny, still hot, but not quite as humid with a high of around 90. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low 73. And for Friday, mostly cloudy with some heavy showers around with a high 84.
If you drive a car, you want it to last and not cost you a ton in the long run. Get your car to United Tire and Service. Visit one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. Visit UnitedTire.com. UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Crash-proof consumers, like Donna McMacken, know that the double-digit interest credited to their accounts is protected and available to access without penalty.
With Crash Proof Retirement, I know that my money is totally safe. I stand to gain and brought in 11%. That was interest credited to my account. And I have the opportunity with Crash Proof for that to continue to compound. Even with taking my required distributions, I could withdraw Crash Proof income. There are no fees charged. Even though I've been retired a number of years and I'm not making a salary, I have my investments with Crash Proof, and that's making me money while I enjoy my retirement.
Only Crash Proof Retirement can guarantee peace of mind in a legally binding, recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Philly police are looking for the shooter they say killed a convenience store clerk during an apparent robbery in the Frankfurt section of the city. The Atlantic City Air Show is canceled after organizers say the main act pulled out, and inflation cooled off in June for the third straight month.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Time! Great workout, Rock.
I'll hit the showers.
Not anymore, Rock. I went to Half Price Hot Tubs and got a nice hot tub and infrared sauna.
Hey, yo, Mick, how many rounds did you go to get that deal?
At Half Price Hot Tubs, you always get the best price on the best brands with more inventory than you have sequels.
I'll get one for me and Buckus.
Half Price Hot Tub sale ends soon. Save an additional $500 and get our unique chemical-free system at 0% financing.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in. So, as I mentioned, this squatters thing. So, the Senate passed a law really trying to restrain this. It was unanimous, which really doesn't happen. Then in the House, they tabled it. Donna Shuren, who is the representative from Gilbertsville, Souderton, she was on the school board. That's how we know her. Might be on tomorrow. It's busy right now, the budget in Harrisburg today. She wanted to amend it to give law enforcement permission to remove trespassers immediately upon probable cause based on a signed affidavit by the homeowner and imposed increased penalties for property damage. Now, who in the world would not want to do that? Why in the world are we fooling around with this stuff? Well, the piece I'm reading about squatters' rights refers to the legal concept of adverse possession. In Pennsylvania, squatters can potentially claim legal ownership of a property after 21 years of continuous, exclusive, and visible possession. I don't even know, where are we, back in merry old England? I don't care if it's not your property and you stay there for 100 years. Why would you get possession? That's a side issue, though. From that, it's morphed into this increasing situation where people take over a residence. Sometimes they deal drugs out of it. Shuren talked about that on the floor. She heard from anxious constituents worried about a highly dishonest practice of this, occupying an ever-increasing rate through the country, criminals keenly taking advantage of lax laws. Now, I don't want to blame the cops in this, saying, well, there's nothing we can do based on this. Why would Democrats table this? Well, they're going to table it in Pennsylvania because they're progressives. Their leadership is a lot of these representatives from Philadelphia, Norristown, Reading, and the like. And they don't like anything that they think is taking away some kind of right here. What kind of possible excuse would it be? You either show the deed, you sign an affidavit. If you sign this affidavit and you're lying, there are criminal penalties. And the cops evict the lawbreakers from your home. Just the mere thought, every time this comes up, and we've talked about it a few times, of somebody in your house, well, nothing we're going to do. You're going to have to go down to this. You're going to have to wait 90 days. We're going to have to do this. Some judge. This is what's going on in Harrisburg. This is what's going on nationwide with the Democratic Party. So even though in the Senate it was unanimous, in the House, they're still going back and forth with this. I mean, isn't that what you want? It's bad enough that someone's taken over your home, done damage to it, or just the idea these creeps are in your home, in the slightest. We've lost our mind here that people stand there and say, wow, you know, there is this. I'm looking right at the law, 21 years and all. How do we morph from that to this? Because everybody's afraid these creeps will sue somebody, do something. All right, so what you have to do is you have to jump in, have a law that's going to give immediate power to take them out of there based upon what I told you. That's all Democrats had to do. And the nonsense, you wonder why things don't get done. They don't work hard enough. They're not there on Mondays. They're not there on Fridays. The type of nonsense that they're involved in. This is a real thing. Just say, we're getting you out of there. It's that essential. You want to put in some safeguard. The safeguard is the police would tell you if you're doing this for God knows what reason, then you're under force of law also. How often is that going to happen? The answer is almost never or never. Shurin also talked about how dangerous it is, described an incident unfolded in New York when a woman was murdered by squatters who had taken over the home when she was on vacation in Spain. One homeowner in Pennsylvania spent over $1,200 to evict squatters. Another was jailed for changing the locks in her own home. Part of this, too, there's an undercurrent of people that are here illegally into this whole thing. Maybe Democrats like that, too. How in the world would this not be a reasonable solution? The thing that people want. And I think some of these Democrats are saying, you guys are overblowing. I'm so tired of hearing that. We're always overblowing everything. I don't care if it's one case in Pennsylvania. I don't care if it hasn't happened in Pennsylvania. How long would it take to read this, vote on it, and just get something done? No, they're reluctant in anything that appears to be reinforcing the idea of somebody that is the homeowner, everybody's a victim on the other. Well, how do you know why they're in that home? Maybe they're homeless. Okay. They don't belong there. They have no right to be there. It's not their home. They are homeless. Joe in Hilltown, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing? You know, this squatter stuff is a lot more dangerous than people think. Now, this happened to a friend of mine. He let his nephew and stuff live in his house for a while, and they were dealing drugs. When they got raided, his house got taken over by the government.
Yeah.
He lost his house and everything, and he couldn't do anything about it, even though he didn't do anything. I mean, this is... And it was an older guy, 65 years old.
Yeah,
he lost his whole life. He lost everything.
Some of the seizures of assets have been tyrannical. We've talked about that part of it too, Joe, that the person really has no shot in this. Thank you, Joe. We've talked about that aspect too. Is it this widespread? I really, we shouldn't engage with Democrats. Same thing we had on Wesley Hunt was great today about this proof of citizenship bill that the House passed yesterday. Well, how many people can be? I'm not going to argue with you. We shouldn't have people here illegally voting in the presidential election. I don't care if it's one in Pennsylvania. I don't care if we don't know, and it's hard to know. Why are you trying to block this? Because you want all these loopholes. That's why. That's what progressives want. That's what Democrats want. Only 5 of them voted yesterday for common sense, politically too, to say, no, if you're not a citizen, and how hard is it to prove citizenship? There are 5 or 6 ways in this bill that you could, just like voter ID. All right, coming up, Dan time, and at 2 o'clock, we'll talk with the Fitzgerald family, give you a little bit more of an update. Yesterday, when they held this news conference saying that Larry Krasner didn't even have the grace or dignity to meet with them and tell them he wasn't going to go for the death penalty. Is he even going to go for life imprisonment without parole? I mean, after all, you assassinate some young man with a family in this situation. Yeah, you ought to be in jail for the rest of your life. We don't need you out. 855-839-1210.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Our bike ride is coming up Sunday, July 21st. If you want to sign up, if you want to ride, get to gregstockersucks.com. Almost at $16,000. If we get another 4,000 or so in, Greg Stocker will have to ride 65 miles. And a big shout out to David Gelman and GelmanLawFirm.com for being our jersey sponsor. These beautiful jerseys if you're going to ride on our team this year.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, everyone. Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing, though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
Keswick Theater welcomes the Oak Ridge Boys on August 2nd, the Little River Band August 10th, and the Righteous Brothers on August 20th. Tickets are on sale at keswicktheater.com. That's keswicktheater.com.
This is a consumer alert to all U.S. taxpayers who owe the IRS back taxes or have unfiled tax returns. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you can now take advantage of active programs that provide relief to struggling taxpayers and may reduce or eliminate what you owe if you qualify. Even if you are facing liens, levies, audits, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, call the Easy Tax Relief Helpline now to check what savings you may qualify for at 800-544-1527. You may qualify to reduce up to 99% of what you owe or for other special programs. Once qualified and enrolled, you can rest assured that your assets are protected and all collection efforts will be stopped. Billions of dollars in savings are available through these relief programs for struggling taxpayers, but you must call to see if you qualify. To see what savings you qualify for, call 800-544-1527. 800-544-1527. That's 800-544-1527.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS has raised the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes in recent years. This hits hard if you're behind on your taxes. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. If you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Never miss a moment from the Dom Giordano program again. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 1210 WPHT. And listen whenever and whatever works best for you.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's Stan time
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
with Dom.
That's right, it's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program to bring you
All the things.
well, maybe not all the things, but some of them. Dom, congratulations to the new happy couple, that being billionaire Alex Soros and Huma Abedin. Now engaged. Congratulations, Dom. George Soros' son, billionaire, and Huma Abedin, who's like 20 years his senior. Dom, would you choose Huma as your wife, especially after the situation that unfolded with Anthony Weiner? I don't know.
Yeah, you have to look good alongside Anthony Weiner, I would think. I mean, it's hard to. I think I had him on once. Quite a character.
Well, we're on the topic of Carlos Danger and Anthony Weiner, who was pictured naked at one point. Another politician has gone naked on her own virtue. That Uchino Ayari. She's a gubernatorial candidate out in Tokyo, Dom, and as a way to try and muster up some votes, she stripped on national television. Dom, good idea. Could you see a politician doing that in the future here in America?
I think it's an excellent idea. I don't know which politician.
Donald Trump?
No, I don't think that would
strip
work.
show from Donald Trump, no?
How about the Big Gretch? That would be interesting.
Imagine?
Yes. Yeah.
Down Texans now, because of Hurricane Beryl, sad story we said yesterday, Minnie, who went through a horrible situation, lost some family members and stuff. It's so sad, Minnie. Hope everything's going well out there. But Minnie, you and others down in Texas can use the Whataburger app to track where the power outages are, because it's such a presence down in Texas, the fast food chain, and it's a 24-hour fast food chain that if you're having trouble finding, or those down in Texas that are having trouble finding where power is out and where it's on, you can actually sign on to the Whataburger app and see which ones are in operation, and that will tell you if there's power or not in that area.
They used to say the Waffle House was the determinant. If they're out, then it's a real problem. They go the Waffle House. Yeah,
the Waffle House is probably a huge presence down there as well.
Exactly. Across the South, the Waffle House. Yes.
Dom, another new trend regarding dating popping up on social media. Quote, boy sober. Girls are now saying that they've had enough with their romantic sexual relationships with men, particularly online dating. So they're going to spend the entire summer, quote, boy sober. Not a good landscape for guys out there trying to find women, huh?
I would think they'd be on The View any point in the near future. There'll be a guest on there talking about it, yeah.
If you're a surfer in South Africa, be alarmed, Dom. Not for sharks, but for now, seals with rabies. Seals with rabies on the loose in South Africa if you're paddling out there. I don't know, Dom. Are you more concerned about sharks or seals with rabies?
I do have a slight shark sense.
Do you go swimming at the shore when you're down there?
Yeah, I do go. But
is there like a limit to the water? Like,
I don't think I go.
Guy?
Oh yeah.
It's
got to be 70 plus, 72.
See, the
really.
warm water weirds me out a little bit because you know that all the jellyfish are going to be there, and then.
I've never had a problem with that. 72 plus at least. I don't know. The water temperature was not good at the shore in June.
A man was stopped in China, Dom. He was trying to smuggle more than 100 live snakes in his pants.
I saw that story. These are the dumb criminal story. It's just hard to believe.
Of all the things to smuggle, though,
oh
snakes?
My God! Let's move on from that. Yeah.
And finally, Dom, Tobey Maguire's getting a lot of heat, especially from leftist social media, because it's come out that he's dating Lily Chi, a model who's 20. Toby's 49 years old. The age gap. People, a story in USA Today, commentary. We need to talk about age gaps. A lot writing that if you double this woman's age, she's still a decade younger than Tobey Maguire. Not weird, though, is it? Or is it weird?
I know. It's so hard to find love anyhow that I don't see that as a hurdle.
Yeah, but, I mean, Huma Abedin and Alex Sawyer is kind of the same age gap going back that way. It's kind of weird. So I don't know. That's all I got for Dan Time today.
Thank you, Dan. All right, coming up, we are going to talk with the Fitzgerald family. We had them on yesterday, but it was very rushed due to the fact they had a news conference. This is Chris Fitzgerald, the Temple police sergeant who was brutally killed, assassinated, really, that Larry Krasner would not fine for the death penalty. And I found some more things out about this, or even give them the reason why. Is it insanity in this case? Well, you know, the standard, you can be insane as long as you know in that moment what you're doing is wrong and still get the death penalty. All right. And there have been more people that have weighed in on this, including in that race that may determine who has the Pennsylvania House, the Doherty guy versus the new Republican, the Republican out there in Northeast Philadelphia in that Kevin Boyle district. Remember him? Adamantly says death penalty on this. The Doherty guy is kind of all over the place on this. Guess he's waiting for orders from headquarters to know what to say. And I'd love to have him on to tell me about Larry Krasner in this case. All right, phone lines, keep them coming to what's that book? So awful, that play. You barely were able to get through it, or maybe you didn't. It's demanded that you have to read it. That's what we're looking for. Today, though, The Great To Kill a Mockingbird was published. And could Josh Shapiro really not be, is Dan right, Charlie Giroux, not be the Democrat nominee? Now, think about this. This guy has been running for president since he was in kindergarten. I mean, anybody knows him knows that this is the thing. And he is the darling of the media. Are they going to reveal, though, he wouldn't be picked because of anti-Semitic thought inside the Democrat Party? I don't know what the polling says, but I think the gut instincts on that are right, that would probably be the case. 855-839. 1210.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill, and Mike, Barkley. They brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it. His brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at the Ocean City Music Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey on Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Inflation fears started in 2021. The warning signs were everywhere. But Senator Bob Casey ignored the warnings and sided with the liberals in Washington, voting for trillions in reckless, wasteful spending. And all that reckless spending made inflation worse, driving up prices on almost everything you buy. Now, Pennsylvania families are paying the price for Senator Casey's reckless spending. Our state's been hit the hardest by higher prices. With Senator Casey's reckless spending, grocery prices are up 25%. Rent, it's up 21%. And electricity's up 29%. Senator Casey helped create this mess. And now, Pennsylvania families are struggling to make ends meet. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act, and fight against inflationary government spending. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
If it's been a minute since you've considered an Infiniti, now's the time to check out the Bush Auto Group. At Bush Infiniti of Westchester, we have exceptional offers just for you. Enjoy rates as low as 4.9% for 36 months on Infiniti certified pre-owned vehicles. Plus, every new Infiniti comes with 3 years free maintenance. Don't wait. Visit in-store today at Bush Infiniti of Westchester or online at infinityofwestchester.com. Philly rides with us.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Woody Harrelson has a serious disdain for the cell phone.
I like to be in touch with people in a way, but I don't like the appendage on my appendage.
So spot on.
As he's saying that on a device that you can only get on your phone.
Has he done a lot of drugs and alcohol?
Oh,
Because he
course.
sounds like his brain has just gone into slow motion. As Woody Harrelson said, the last thing you really do on your phone for the most part is actually make phone calls.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Got a lot more thoughts, some more developments around the President Biden's big boy news conference, so to speak, at 5:30 today. We'll get to that. But yesterday, we had this just unbelievably emotional, heart-wrenching situation, and we were pressed for time. We were coming up to the end of the show with the Fitzgerald family. You know them by now. They are the family of Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, Temple University police, gunned down in just an assassination, really. And that was 17 months ago. That's hard to believe. And the family has been trying to meet and make their case, and they did a bit with Larry Krasner. And when Krasner finally decided no death penalty, and maybe even, we're not sure on this, life imprisonment, he didn't meet with them again. You would think, given this case and given how repulsive it is, given how high profile it is, and given just the right thing to do, and to give them the reason. Don't you think, let's just dwell on that. It's not just the decision the media doesn't get. Wouldn't you want to know at least the reason? And I don't, I'd be the last one in the world that would want to talk to victims like this and come up with some cockamamie reasoning process to explain why justice can't be done here. But you have to. Otherwise, don't be the DA. Don't have some subordinate read a statement to the family.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, you know what it is. There's two
it's
things.
The guy that can't look himself in the mirror, to be
right.
honest
That's
with you.
one. And two, Dan, there is no reasoning process here. I'm reading WHYY, who doesn't get it, media coverage of this today, saying that, well, there was a lot of evidence they sifted through and looked at. How about telling us, media, just for once in Krasner, explicitly, what is the evidence that says this is not a death penalty case? And we talked yesterday with Dr. Fitzgerald, who talked about how they presented all the, quote, and it's a good word, prongs of what you need for a death penalty case.
Could you just imagine the gusto of having a mourning family come in and put together a present? Like,
yes.
Oh, my gosh. Man.
And what is it that takes it away from that? And we know what it is. I mean, and I agree with them. A, ideologically, he would never go for the death penalty in any way, shape, or form. And B, he hates cops. And when you put all this together, this is where he's going to go. My gripe is there is not a bigger outrage. Maybe that's why talk radio exists, though. The media sort of puts some coverage on this, but this is just insensitive. All the elements we've talked about. Philadelphia Inquirer, don't you think, simple question, that the DA should meet with the family, every family, but in this situation, and explain the reasoning? Well, Dom, don't be DA then. Don't be DA then. If this is what you come up with after 17 months, then I think you have to step by step go through your thinking. You could say how emotional this is for you, but you have to look at some other picture and explain your case. And if the family, erupts in a sense emotionally and pushes back on it, then you have to deal with that. This is part of public life. I can't imagine, Dan, that's the affront, too. Reading a piece of paper through a subordinate to them because we're afraid. And the piece of paper doesn't say any reason. All right, we wanted to just play you from Dr. Joel.
Can I just present one more angle before?
Sure.
Just if the hats were reversed, if this were a police officer that had murdered, slaughtered somebody standing over them, and Krasner treated the victim's family in this way, you don't think the Philadelphia Inquirer wouldn't have a weekly commentary piece about this?
Well, that'd be interesting. I don't even think he would go for the death penalty there as much as he hates cops. I mean, it's just that he is a defense attorney, and my broader point, and I don't want to draw the Fitzgeralds into this. I did talk to Dr. Joel about this, Dan. How have we in a country come to this point where on paper people say they want the death penalty with all the safeguards, and yet we can't do it? So without further ado, Dan, I don't think we have to play anything more. Let's go to Dr. Fitzgerald, Pauline Fitzgerald, his wife, and Marissa Fitzgerald, Chris Fitzgerald's wife, Sergeant Chris's wife. Fitzgerald's, welcome back in. And Pauline Fitzgerald, I'm very glad you jumped in a little bit yesterday. It had to be hard hearing all this. I had a couple of things I wanted to ask you, then just tell us how you're feeling today after this came out. One, I believe that you guys are putting in a petition to the Attorney General, or have. This happened within 500 feet of a SEPTA installation, that this ought to be the purview of the SEPTA prosecutor put in because of Krasner.
That is correct. We have reached out to them. That is correct. It is within 500 feet of the bus stop. And so we have reached out to them to see if they may be able to assist us.
Well, that will be a test once that prosecutor is officially in there, and I'm certainly glad that he would be. So, Pauline, yesterday you jumped in toward the end, a day to consider this, and you've seen the media coverage of it, the back and forth. What are your other thoughts today?
Well, the wind was knocked out of us. So today we're catching our breath. I wanted to say something. It was not even a letter. It was a read text message that was read to us. So it was his response and it was read to us by the assigned prosecutor. And it was a text message. It wasn't even a email or anything like that. It was what she literally read. His response was that he would not meet with us and he would not give us the reason.
So when you asked, did you say, well, why won't he meet with us? What was the response?
There was none to that.
Wow.
And none whatsoever.
Yeah, and your response, take us inside what you're thinking. I mean, I'll be the devil's advocate on the other side. What good would it do to meet with Krasner at this point? What would you say to that?
I mean, we'd like to hear it from him. You know, it could have been his age, but I think we deserve to at least have a response to what his reasoning was at the very littlest, at the very minimum. I think we deserve that.
And Dr. Joel, I would say, speaking as a media member, the media has to press this guy to hear explicitly, not some vague stuff. We looked at a lot of things. All right, you looked at that, you heard your presentation and what the law is. It came to this conclusion. You, the family, and the public were all deserved to know this is an actual case in front of us. Your philosophy on the death penalty. What is the exact reason why you wouldn't even put this before a judge and jury to make that determination?
As I spoke about yesterday during a press conference with at least, I'd say about 20 media members, I think this was the perfect storm for Larry Krasner. You had a police officer of color be killed by a privileged male. And it's reminiscent of like the first Shaft movie, right? You got this untouchable person that slaughtered our son in Philadelphia streets, and Krasner standing on his word of never to go after the death penalty, and citizens who supported him, these congregations throughout the city of Philadelphia who remained silent should be ashamed of themselves. Media members that were on the phone yesterday, we answered about 45 minutes worth of their questions, should be ashamed for not printing some of the coverage that they received yesterday. Thankfully, Dom, you guys put some of that on your air. He is, and when I say worst case scenario for him and perfect storm, if a case ever fit, again, like you said, the prongs of the death penalty, this does. You have a uniformed police officer performing his duties as a police officer in a legal manner. You have him making a lawful stop, pleading with this person not to struggle with him, getting shot 6 times, getting robbed, and then subsequently robbing someone else. This person, if we can make a stretch and call him that, does deserve to wonder if a jury of Philadelphians or a judge in Philadelphia would consider giving him the death penalty. And to take that right away, every one of Larry Krasner's supporters that don't necessarily understand the criminal justice system should question why he does not have the confidence in Philadelphians to make that choice themselves.
That is very well put. That's exactly what you're asking for. Before, I have one more question for you, Dr. Joel. After this, now 24 hours after this, as the mayor, city council, any elected officials, I see the Republican running in Northeast Philadelphia has pretty much said the type of stuff that we've been saying. The opponent, Mr. Doherty, was a little bit fuzzy on this. Has anybody spoken out and said, at least you and then the public should know why in Philadelphia? Or is Krasner just saying, well, the death penalty doesn't exist? The lamest thing that I've heard, and then you can answer that, please, is people saying on Twitter and some other places, well, Josh Shapiro's already said he's not going to sign it. Why would we care what Krasner does?
It's very simple. Krasner has the responsibility of presenting the best possible case before a judge or jury. The best possible case includes the best, most applicable punishments for them to review and those folks to consider. Absent he providing them with the ability to consider death, we don't have that now as a consideration. So what Krasner can in effect do is plead out, like he's done in other cases, this privileged murderer to something much less. It's a shame and really a referendum on what's going on in Philadelphia right now, that only one person in the political realm has spoken out on it. We contacted the mayor's office several times. We wanted their support. We did not get a response anytime that we called the mayor's office. We have reached out to the FOP, the state FOP, I should say Lodge 5 FOP and the state FOP and the Temple University Police Officers Association. They are beyond angry, and they should be, because there are other cases now that are coming down the pike that Larry Krasner has purview over. And this, again, as I said yesterday, is a bellwether case for him. It sets the precedent for what other families and victims can expect out of Larry Krasner and his office. And what they can expect is to be taken out of the process, that consideration for death is not there. And what is the impetus for any criminal that has committed a capital homicide, a capital murder, to plead out to anything less if the death penalty isn't an option? There is no motivation for a criminal to plea out. So now we are automatically stuck with, well, that person's going to get something less. We knew that, and let's move on. And that's unacceptable. Philadelphia should be, really concerned about, again, his decision-making process and his confidence in those who elected him.
Exactly. Dan, you had a question for the Fitzgerald.
Yeah, in one of Dr. Joel's previous answers, he mentions the press conference that they held at this time yesterday. And watching the press conference, it seemed to have every news outlet, prominent news outlet from the Philadelphia region, and reporters were on camera with Zoom, and when they would cut to them, it looked like, there wasn't a dry eye there. And us here on the Dom Giordano program, we make it clear to your family over and over again that this is such a strong human rights story. Just hearing Marissa and telling about her children, that there's such an impact, and you could tell that the reporters yesterday felt that as well, and the questions that they were asking seemed so sympathetic to your cause. But then you're right, just silence from the media. So I'm curious, Dr. Joel, where do you think that disconnect comes from between these reporters who genuinely seem to care about your cause, but then just not showing up anywhere in the media?
I do think it's politically motivated. I believe that Krasner has insulated himself from members of the media. There's only one or two media members that we can point to on one hand who have challenged or questioned him about decision-making. And quite frankly, we've relied now on national media. If you notice the national coverage that this has gotten, it's really been an effective means to get our message out there, and more effective, shamefully, than the media we grew up on.
Wow.
We are Philadelphians. We love the city of Philadelphia. But to have silence from the mayor, to have her concurrently run a press conference and talk about the status quo, when the status quo in this city is crimes of violence not being prosecuted by the district attorney and him taking it out of the hands of juries.
Yeah, that is the status quo. Marissa Fitzgerald with us, too. Marissa, 24 hours later, any other thoughts that you have?
I'm just in disbelief, honestly. I feel broken, devastated. My kids are extremely smart. And, when Officer Mendez was shot and killed, our 10-year-old son came up to me and said, "Mommy, did what happened to Mendez, was it the same as my daddy?" And I said, "Yes." And, now I have to sit here one day when they're old enough to read all of this and explain to them, when they ask, why did this monster not get the death penalty? I'm going to have to sit here and have this conversation with our parents to best explain to them that the DA is not for the victims, nor is he for police officers. And their father was a police officer. So it's very heartbreaking to know that this is something that we're going to have to do. And I'm just, I have all the words, but it's just,
well,
it's devastating.
Exactly. Well, Fitzgerald's next steps, please just let us know what comes next around this, and we will aid in any way that we can.
Well, our hope is that, our appeal to the state will be heard. We have, again, we're putting together a communication to them to officially ask. We want to be respectful of the state because we understand that we have to signify what the certain conflicts are that would enable them to take this case. So we're treading lightly there, but we've been treading, even though you've heard us and we've been vocal, we've tread lightly throughout this whole case, and we've conducted ourselves with dignity and respect. And I think that is what Larry Krasner did not expect. He wanted a family that would rant and rave and be, the persons that couldn't be interviewed because we couldn't articulate why, this is applicable and death is applicable in this case. And he never expected to have, as he put it in his communication, the years of experience and the knowledge of the system to challenge his thought process. And how dare police officers ever challenge Larry Krasner and be right?
Exactly right. Fitzgerald, it's an honor to have you on. Thank you. Thanks very much. And please let us know what we can do next.
We thank you again, Don.
Thank you.
We certainly
Thank you.
will keep in
Thank you,
contact.
Dr. Joel, Pauline,
Thank
Marissa.
you.
Thank you very much. All right, there are the Fitzgeralds, again, with an update on that since we were so short on time yesterday. And again, Krasner, look, I know there are people listening that are anti the death penalty, and I know some people on moral grounds, whatever. I respect that. But the callousness of this and the fact that the media seems to just move on, this isn't a case where there's not a lot of knowledge, a lot of stuff. And look, let's face it, if you're trying to see a story that people would go, wow, this is different, to Dr. Joel's point. This kid from Buckingham, rich family, the whole thing. He's the one that allegedly assassinates an officer of color. It doesn't fit the media narrative well enough here, though. And all the stuff we can go on, if it's a cop involved, and suddenly, though, that doesn't fit. We'll cover it, but not extensively. And he's right. The national media covering this more or more intently are saying, what the heck's going on here? How could this be? Well, it's Philadelphia. All right, 855, and Mr. Doherty, we'd love to have you on. Dandona, you don't have to invite him. I just put it out there publicly. The guy running the Democrat, the Kevin Boyle seat that could determine who's in charge of the House of Representatives. So I'd love to hear you. Would you be critical? You were a public defender. Would you be critical of Larry Krasner in this? Or you can come on and give us a 2-minute lecture, and then I'll follow up on why we shouldn't do the death penalty. I'd love to hear it.
I'm not a big fan of Iraq.
I'd love to be educated. Sean Doherty.
Oh, not that one.
Not that one. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Jump in right now. It is time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
All right, today we're playing for a pair of tickets to tour the Battleship New Jersey in Camden, New Jersey. For more information, visit battleshipnewjersey.org.
Dom, today we are going to Tupac for the clue. And we're talking about our side question today. What's a book, a work, a play? What's something that you were forced to read that kind of turned you off to the whole reading thing? And this was one that was for me as well. It seems a lot of books turn me off to reading, which is probably why I don't read anything but the internet at this point. But Dom, we want to know what work this quote comes from. And we're not talking about the Ray Bradbury work that uses it as its title. We're talking about the original, where the quote comes from. What's the name of the work that all of us were forced to read at one point in school? Take a listen.
This way comes some quick, 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 this way comes.
There you go. We want to know what that quote comes from, Dom. It's a very very famous quote.
All right. I need some captioning here, I think, to translate this guy. All right.
Let's just say it's by an author that I find very overrated.
Okay. 855-839-1210. Do that. You're going off to see a great tour of the Battleship, New Jersey. And your reaction to the Fitzgeralds here. They're right. I see national media stories, Daily Mails, things like that, international. More intense coverage. Don't you think the media ought to ask Larry Krasner what the reasons are? What's the rationale? Because this is way beyond just this family. These would be the working rules in Philadelphia of what the death penalty is, since he and Shapiro have rewritten it. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in.
Slim down this summer with NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's faster and safer than weight loss injections. Lose those extra pounds the safe and natural way without any shots. Get started at njdiet.com.
35% of crash deaths in Pennsylvania involve drivers under the influence. Drunk, high, buzzed, wasted. Whatever you are, don't become a statistic. Make a plan to get home safe. Designate a driver, ride share, or stay the night. Be safe, PA. Visit pendot.pa.gov/safety for more. Substance use disorder treatment is available. Call 1-800-662-HELP or find a treatment facility at treatmentatlas.org. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Philly police are looking for the shooter they say killed a convenience store clerk during an apparent robbery in the Frankfurt section of the city. The Atlantic City Air Show is canceled after organizers say the main act pulled out. And inflation cooled off in June for the third straight month.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. It's the Saturday Night Free-for-All. Starting at 7 p.m., Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is live and local with Michael Pelka from 7 to 10 p.m.
Just look what they're doing to Robert Kennedy. They got his family to go against him in Philadelphia. And I have to say this, that family looks like there's a whole lot of problems there. I know they're trying to play off on the Camelot magic of JFK.
It's definitely been bred out of the family. The magic, I think, is gone. But that's just me.
The Saturday Night Free-for-All. Listen this weekend. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app. Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone?
Show me the money.
All right, every day at around 2:13 we do this. Let me give you the phone numbers. We'll play the cut again in a second. 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. Jump in. Just looking from what is the work? Where is this phrase from in this song?
That we are all forced to read that I think is by a very overrated author.
God.
Yes, you like the guy. Joe Exton really likes the guy.
Yeah.
But we were forced to read this, or at least I was. This quote comes from it. And it's not the Ray Bradbury novel that's titled this. It's the original work. Dom, we're looking for the quote. This is Tupac. Take a listen.
This way comes some quick, this way comes some quick, this way comes some quick, this way comes
something wicked this way comes. The quote that we're looking for. What original work does that come from, Dom?
Not exactly. With all due respect to Tupac, and I know a lot from this work. That's not. I don't know that.
From the,
yeah, vast people would know that is the quote from this work.
It's spoken by 3 witches. I'll put that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, to a future
it's
king.
a much bigger.
Or at the time, he was the king when they
Yeah,
said it,
much bigger quote than that. A big one from this. It's an obvious one, but okay. 855-839-1210. We pitching a shutout again today. We'll see. I'm going to give another clue. Out, damn spot. There you go.
What's done cannot be undone.
There you go. All right, that's what it's from. Hit us with that quickly, and you will be off to see the Battleship New Jersey. All right, so this whole thing with the Fitzgeralds and all the wrinkles of it is stunning to me on a lesser level as far as accountability. I write for the Delaware Valley Journal. I'm proud of that because they're covering stuff, particularly in our area, particularly in the suburbs, that others just don't dig into, and they just move on. This outrageous story of these kids at the Great Valley School District Middle School, seems to be about 20 of them, who posed as teachers with TikTok accounts. Here we go again with TikTok, right? And put the most defiling, outrageous things on that account as if the work of that teacher. Well, Delaware Valley Journal, Linda Stein, great job today. Students fake teacher's profile on TikTok and face no real consequence. And they interview a teacher that we're going to try to get on. His last name is Young, in the Great Valley School District, middle school. And he talks about how damaging this whole thing was as a teacher to go through all this turmoil. And vaguely, there seems to be some idea. People throw their hands up. People throw their hands up and say that, First Amendment rights, they did it off school property. Apparently, some of this was used with computers that they got from the school. You know, the laptop you take home and all that. Right there is the nexus. What should happen to these 20 kids is the question, doing this type of stuff, middle school. So they're not in a romper room. All right, let me go to Tamara here in Habertown on Talk Radio 1210. Hi, good afternoon. What is the work that we're talking about, Tamara?
Hi, Tamar. Hi, Dom.
Hi.
Yeah, I think it's Macbeth by Shakespeare.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so you get a chance to weigh in. Now, look, you can be critical. The greatest writer in human history is Shakespeare. I rule on that. But anyhow, even somebody like that can have some some of the comedies and all that. How about Macbeth?
I like it. I liked Macbeth. So that was one of the books I had to read as a kid and all. But I enjoyed that. I would say it's probably one of my favorite Shakespearean writings.
I think it's in the
top. I like that in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay.
Oh, anti-Roe
Roe, it differs on that. But Macbeth is definitely in the top 3. As far as I see. I think the masterwork is Hamlet, but I think Macbeth is right up there. So
sure.
Nicely played. Enjoy the Battleship New Jersey.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm glad we got that in. Okay. Merchant of Venice, too. Dan with this stuff. Going after it again. All right.
But, Shakespeare or Springsteen, the two S's.
I don't know that I would have gotten it from Tupac, that I would have thought that's Macbeth.
You don't think you don't think of Tupac as a Shakespeare fan?
Well, I would take something else that's more widely known. You mean to say in the context of a song, his audience would know what the heck he's talking about?
Yeah, well, it's cool. It's like a nice little angle with a message behind it. Something wicked this way come. You sometimes can create your own monsters.
Okay, I guess. All right, so this Great Valley School District, what should they do with these kids? I would put them on homebound, and we can come up with any number of time. Make the parents, who are apparently not parenting too well with this massive scheme, have to deal with this. Yeah, they wouldn't be in school. I'd have to send a message. Well, there's a First Amendment. No, buddy. There's no First Amendment here to do what they did. The other thing is these teachers could sue the parents. Just imagine going through this with stuff on your TikTok account that is pedophilia, that is homophobic, that is misogynist, just a whole array of wild stuff. Delaware Valley Journal's right. where's the consequence here? They interviewed the teacher and others. Apparently, the teachers en masse are going to go to the school board meeting on Monday night. How do you let something like this essentially slide? You know, all these lectures tell, well, we need to be teaching civic digital journalism and all, too. There's got to be accountability here. This is not that easy to do. And apparently, I read in here that the computers, the laptops, were from the school, the ones you get, at least in some cases. There's a nexus there. Right there, you got them. Well, why would you want to do that to middle school? This is a sign of the ages, you know? To me, it is hard to believe that this went on and it just came to light now. Fake teacher profiles with this stuff going on. It's got to be traumatic for the teacher. And we know how popular TikTok is. I'm not even saying get into root causes. Well, why did they do it? No, I don't even really care why they did it, to be honest. They deserve to be held accountable. Clear line, you shouldn't do this. You're not getting away with it, kid. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. And if you have a comment on the Fitzgerald and Larry Krasner, we'd certainly love to hear it. No real change that I can see. Everybody waiting until the Biden news conference today. And it's a home court advantage. He doesn't have to travel far. They get to determine who to call on. So here's what I'll be watching for at 5:30 today. One, and I can't tell by what they put out. They're being opaque with this, not transparent. Are there going to be questions on other things? We don't need questions on other things today. Not all. We want to see how Biden can show his vast knowledge of NATO and things of that nature. Really? This is running out the clock. They'll get some of these foreign press in there. You've seen this. You've seen this in various events. When they finally get called on, they pontificate, they run out the clock. How long should the news conference be? Well, you would think, given the national furor over this, at least 45 minutes. I don't see why not an hour. I'll take the under on the hour, though. I can't believe they'll have Biden up there facing any kind of scrutiny for an hour. Now, the one plus of a sort, I don't think the media can go into the tank directly here. Meaning, I don't see there is such, they've been outed on this whole thing. They can't go back. What would the play be? I don't even know if the media would want to go in the tank here, Dan, because they want to win. They're convinced by any reasonable person that's near the scene that Biden can't win. So wouldn't they be more prone to be fairly aggressive here rather than in the tank? What's in it for them to be in the tank for Biden here? I don't see the play there. The play is all the other way. Now they can't go overboard like they're beating up on the guy. And we know all that.
Well, they need their money. They don't want to piss off the establishment.
Yeah, well, the establishment, though, wants them to go.
Do they, though?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. I think the reason why
I hate to say, but when it comes to push comes to shove, Biden himself and their family still control that DNC establishment. Like the money, the campaign funding, where it goes is determined by Biden. I mean,
that's one group. But if he's out, they would go to the next nominee. So I don't know that that's it. And what's happened here, and I told you this text I got from the McCormick campaign, how much they've closed on Casey. They're afraid anybody that has a reasonable challenge in their seat like Casey, and some of these Congress people in the swing district, they're afraid that the Biden effect is now on them. Previously, they were running ahead where Biden was. Now with all this, they're sensing this could bring down everything. So that's why they want him out. So I'm thinking, if you watch this reasonably today, I'm not saying the media is going to be as aggressive as they would be going after Trump. What I am saying is, though, they're not going to be in the tank to protect Biden here, even an outlier. Watch, though, that they try to go to people who start yammering on running out the clock, on NATO most likely, on Hurricane Beryl. If they allow a question on the hurricane, give us a break. Come on. What else can they waste time with? So their mission is to run out the clock as much as possible, to hope that Biden can skirt this for 15 or 20 minutes and not be as horrific as the debate. He won't be good, so this won't still things. But if he's really bad, then even I'd have to say they might be able to get him out. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Jump on board. Give me your reactions to that. That's at 5:30 today during Rich's show. You'll get his coverage because I think it'll be over before 6:05 or something. If he goes an hour, wow, I can't imagine what would happen.
I mean, 6 o'clock's when the moonlighting starts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sundowning. Yes.
That's what it is. Moonlighting, sundowning.
Sundowning is a little different. Hey, get ready for a gift from Rescue Natural Supplements. It's their Christmas in July sale. That's right. The season of giving is making a summer comeback with huge savings. That means all health supplements will be slashed up to 50, 60, even 70% off site-wide. Treat yourself with savings on heart-healthy omega-3s, pain-relieving anti-inflammatories, natural immunity boosters, and so much more. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, don't miss Rescue's Christmas in July sale. You'll shop savings up to 70% off all natural solutions for your highs and lows from high blood pressure, cholesterol, low energy, or testosterone. Rescue's got you covered. So hurry on over and unwrap the joy of a healthier you. res-q.com. Do it today.
A drier air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly sunny, still hot, but not quite as humid with a high of around 90. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low 73. And for Friday, mostly cloudy with some heavy showers around with a high 84.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
By registering for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event, you'll see real statements from Crash Proof Retirement clients documenting how the exclusive Crash Proof Retirement system credits double-digit interest returns, even during the worst of recent stock market downturns.
Rob Lukens, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. During COVID, when everything was going down in the stock market, we saw our investment with Crash Proof grow 15%, which was unheard of. Markets weren't growing that way. The interest we made through Crash Proof's investments, we keep it. We don't lose anything. We keep every penny that we invested. The worst that's going to happen is you keep your money. Crash Proof gives me great peace of mind. And I would recommend anybody who sees this or hears this to give Crash Proof a call. Pick the phone up, call. It's simple.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
July is the month to save big. With financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months. Come to TurnersvilleJeep.com and get an incredible 0% APR for up to 84 months on select models. Or make no payments for 90 days. TurnersvilleJeep.com has over 450 vehicles available for immediate delivery. The ride you want is what we've got. So drive a little, save a lot. TurnersvilleJeep.com, your premier tri-state Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, and Wagoneer dealer.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, back to your Dano show. So, Dan, right on top of this, due to a NATO scheduling, the press conference will be delayed an hour, starting at 6:30 today.
New York Post headline, Biden's high-stakes big boy press conference delayed, so it might miss evening news broadcasts.
Yeah, still playing. You know, they don't get it. They've been caught. The silly thing with the the black radio station in Philadelphia with the questions in advance, endless. A lot of stuff, Dan, over the last couple of hours, particularly even on Fox, the VP choice, which is lurking there, and something that you saw early on, even Trump saying, well, yeah, he took a pretty strong stand there about J.D. Vance and abortion, saying, I'm paraphrasing, but it's in this context, that things that are inconvenient, like rape or incest, should not be the deciding factor. Wow.
Yeah, he says two wrongs don't make a right in that case.
Yeah, and I know that logic. I could hear that around the life issue, but then you have the counter. I just don't believe in Pennsylvania, for example, you're going to win if you're against the three exceptions in this range. And nationally, if Trump goes with J.D. Vance with this type of stuff, I'm telling you what's going to happen. They want to suck the oxygen out of the room, Democrats, because they got nothing else. They're going to dwell on abortion and J.D. Yeah, but Dan, we actually have smart people try to convince me. One was a guy running for governor and saying, well, I really wouldn't have much to do with it, or running for the Senate. I wouldn't have much to do with it. That's more of a state issue. You're not going to get away with it here with this type of stance on abortion. They're not going to let you, and the media is not going to let you. So 6:30 today is what we're looking at with Biden, and rescheduling it for NATO. You're right, that could be to avoid some of the news, but maybe more importantly, what they're doing is, Dan, why do they need an extra hour? And they're going to try to shove down our throat Biden talking about NATO here. Now, that's something, if I were trying to get away with it with Biden, not being horrific on this, he might be able to get away with. But is that what we want to know about NATO again? Or do we want to know this thing, why won't you take a cognitive test? Why are you engaging? You know, that's where the issue is. That's where the question should be. It's not a quiz on NATO. They're trying to make it a quiz on NATO. Watch, if you hear Dan Borowski from the Oslo News. Dan, what's your question? And please, take your time. I should be in charge of these. It's ruthless. You have 13 seconds. Answer your question. Now, sit down.
How much do you think this is? Like, he's on his 18th dose of whatever he's been taking, smelling salts.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
not working. They're hoping to get 3 more doses in with the extra hour. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, they're going to inject him.
Like it's not. It's 2:45, guys. It's not working. He's on his 18th dose.
Yeah,
we might need to push it back an hour to get him working.
What in the hell with NATO? Again, pushing this back an hour. It's ludicrous, and I think it's more to kind of to come up with some kind of NATO thing they were talking about so that the news conference will be a lot about NATO. Let's see if the media resist. If they say, wait a minute, come on, we're ABC News. I don't want to hear the Finnish guy with his stupid question. I hate it when those foreign press people ask stuff. It's always, well, you know, in Mozambique, the farming rates are not good. Can you comment on that? The cue cards with Biden, too, what he'll be reading off. That will be interesting. He still will not be able to get through. I'm conflicted here, Dan. I want him to get through, as you know. I don't want to see a big blow up today. I want him to be able to get, well, I do deep down. Will Dr. Jill Biden ever jump into the ring? You know what I mean? Will she at some point say that's enough and just jump up there, no more questions, and be holding up her arms when they run out of the room? All right, let's take one more here. Steve in Warminster, Talk Radio 1210. Then we'll have the lightning round. Hey, Steve, welcome in.
Hi, Dom. How you doing?
Good.
Getting back to those students, I think a proper punishment would be like 3 years of wearing those anklet bracelets. This way that the other students know that this is a punishment and that they can always be tracked at all times. And I just think that's fair. What do you think?
I got to think on that one. I got to say, Steve, that is a creative solution. That would hold you accountable, having to wear that to school every day, you would think. But imagine...
I saw a waitress with one.
I saw it. We were at a pretty fancy... We had dinner at a place in the Crest, Steve, last Saturday, and or last Friday. And when we're coming out of this, we're walking through the hotel. I say to Ro, did you see that guy there? I'm an observer. I have to observe. Giant ankle bracelet. I said, let's give wide berth to this guy, Dan. It was a bruising guy whose head would break the door, and he's got an ankle bracelet on. I don't want to ask him, why, that's a nice ankle bracelet you're wearing there. Yeah. So, Steve, what's your book you were forced to read?
A number of the Shakespearean ones. I just couldn't stay awake through them. I don't have a favorite. They're all not my favorite to read. I'd rather see the movie. It makes more sense. That old English stuff, it's over. Really.
You don't like the iambic pentameter. You don't like the puns of Shakespeare.
No, thank you.
All right.
Too much muckety-muck.
It is the lightning round next. Yes.
Kamala Harris was plagiarizing today. You want to hear it?
Yes.
The one thing we know about our president, Joe Biden, is that he is a fighter. He is a fighter. And he is the first to say, when you get knocked down, you get back up. You get back up.
I get knocked down. You would think with staffs of thousands, Dan, writers, apparently clever people, these are the best lines they come up with. And then she repeats it. You get back up. Did you hear me the first time? You get back up.
Chumbawamba over here.
They only have
VP Chumbawamba.
They only have 7 to 10 minutes they have to speak, and you got to say this stupid stuff constantly. I don't know about Joe getting back up, by the way. Okay, lightning round next. Hit us with that all-time book, forced to read. You couldn't stand it. 855-839-1210.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at FamilyJewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Philly police are looking for the shooter they say killed a convenience store clerk during an apparent robbery in the Frankfurt section of the city. The Atlantic City Air Show is canceled after organizers say the main act pulled out. And inflation cooled off in June for the third straight month.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Keswick Theater welcomes the Oak Ridge Boys on August 2nd, the Little River Band August 10th, and the Righteous Brothers on August 20th. Tickets are on sale at KeswickTheater.com. That's KeswickTheater.com.
Don't let woke win. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, Dan, brilliant producing, right down to the wire, tells us tonight, what are you going to be watching? The Phillies start at 6:05. Joe Biden starts at 6:30. Be honest. Come on now.
I mean, it's a great series, too. You got the Dodgers the two best teams in baseball.
Yeah, the Dodger himself, Joe Biden.
That's true. Yeah.
By the way, President Trump in Butler, PA, we'll get into this more tomorrow. On Saturday, big rally. He's drawn 50,000 people there at times. Will he announce to garner the Pennsylvania the VP choice there and say that VP choice and I are headed off to the convention? I'm saying no, Dan. I think he's going to do it at the convention.
I think he wants to do it at the convention.
Yeah,
He's a showman. I think that's the time to do it for him.
Yeah, exactly. All right, the Earl of Tacony, I think, has got a pretty good one here. Earl, what's yours?
Mine is A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn.
Yes.
I mean, when I started reading that and I saw that Columbus came to the Americas, and the first thing his men did when they got off the boat was they jumped on the backs of Native Americans and rode them like horses until they died. Then they got off the dead Indians and jumped on another one and rode them until they died. I'm saying, this has to be a joke. This can't be a history book.
Well, I had a former Philadelphia City Councilwoman who, along with Jim Kenney, said this should be the book you have to use in Philadelphia schools. They praised Castro. I asked Jamie Blackwell about Castro, and he said he wasn't all bad. And then she went through some of the reasons. It made national news. That was on Fox News Channel on it. So, Earl, that book, it's hard to believe. That is a really good one. Robert in Ben Salem, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you. So I will be quick. Look out for Shapiro going forward. Not this election, but going forward. My answer was the only book I ever was suggested I read, I regret it, and that would be Jonathan Livingston Seagull. After I read it, a book about him wanting to learn to fly and self-realization, and then it occurred to me that I'd never get that 90 minutes of my life back again. You guys have a great day.
Well
okay?
put. Yeah, Jonathan Livingston Seagull better not go to Ocean City. And what are the odds? The Earl of Tacony, followed by Robert of Ben Salem, and then a heavy hitter himself, Joe of Exton, all in a row. Hey, Joe, good afternoon.
Yes, hello, Dom, and good afternoon. A book that I found puzzling when I was in high school was Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad.
Yeah.
Conrad's writing is not simple. It is dense and complex. Joseph Conrad was Polish, and I was puzzled. How could a non-native speaker of English write such intricate prose? Now, however, I would enjoy a book more because I'm used to all types of writing.
Was that a Joe of Exton version of a Polish insult?
No, I think he really likes Conrad. I like it's dense. It's very dense. Wait a minute, Dan.
He said he was surprised a Polish guy could be so intelligent.
It's a quadruple here. Leslie of Bryn Mawr following those heavy hitters, batting cleanup here. Hey, Leslie, what's your book?
I'm going for the home run. Animal Farm. I remember reading it and thinking, wow, this is really wild stuff. But it was really my first introduction to understanding propaganda. And, you know, it was a scary book.
I
liked it.
Yeah, I did too. It's a great book. Well, Dan, I don't think the premise today, we said books you hate, you were forced to, coming off To Kill a Mockingbird today. Thank you, Leslie. All right, Dan, give me some contenders here.
I like The Heart of Darkness just because Joe's it's such a reason for it.
Yes.
Beowulf was a great one from Richard in Westchester. But Earl of Tacony, People's History of the United States from Zinn, I think is a fantastic answer for this.
And again, that book, Dan, is probably in a quarter to a third of high schools across the country as the required reading.
And we wonder why a generation is so socialist now. Yeah.
We should play that tomorrow. Janie Blackwell, I got on the show. She, along with Kenny, who wouldn't come on, Dan. Well, Castro told people, you're all going to have to get along racially, and that's why all those Cubans fled. That's what she told me. The torturing, the killings, and all that had nothing to do, the firing squads, nothing to do with it. And, Dan, she was a reigning city council person.
Wow.
All right. Rich Cioli's next. Biden press conference at about 6:30. Oh, Dan. Newsom reacts to the Clooney. Why didn't we have this? Oh, it's just breaking. To the Clooney New York Times essay. Oh, my God.
red-eye, let alone coming from overseas. So to me, those are two different things. The person that showed up at that fundraiser was a human being.
Oh, boy. Still defending Biden sort of as the knife is out. Moments ago. We'll have that tomorrow. Have a great night. Listen to Rich next. 4 big hours. Thanks to Dan and Jim. Follow on Twitter at DomShow1210. I know you're watching Biden. Or is it the Phillies tonight? Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Get ready to hit it out of the park every time you fire up the grill this summer with Hatfield. Swing into action with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham, bacon, and your favorite Hatfield Phillies Franks. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, Hatfield pork is food you'll feel good about serving. From home or at the ballpark, find your flavor with Hatfield, the official pork provider of the Phillies. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
Ad paid for by AG Marketing Group. Attention timeshare owners. If you need to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, please listen to the following message. Getting out of a timeshare commitment is not easy, and it takes time. But we specialize in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares forever. Can't get the vacation dates that work for you? Maybe you felt taken advantage of or forced into the timeshare? Maybe you just can't continue to shoulder those monthly payments any longer. If you need to eliminate your timeshare commitment, then you need to take down this number, 800-866-7061. We will safely and legally get rid of your timeshare payments forever, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't continue to let your timeshare be a financial burden to you and your loved ones. Call us now at 800-866-7061. The call is free, the consultation is free. Call 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Again, 800-866-7061.
I love this song! I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzz warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Monica Ricks. President Biden still navigating concerns about his political future amid calls from Democrats and donors to hang it up and let someone else step in before November. Voters also have mixed reactions.
Anybody saying that he should resign is a big mistake.
Everybody knows that at some point you got to take your grandparents' keys, like probably around the age Joe Biden is.
CBS's Nicole Killian has more from Capitol Hill now, where 11 House Democrats have now called for Biden to quit.
We continue to see defections, and the latest being Congresswoman Hillary Scholten, who is a frontline member. She just announced that she believes that the president should step aside, arguing that it's important to put forth the strongest candidate possible, someone who can not only win, but also govern.
Biden's press conference later today is expected to address some of those concerns, as well as his work this week with NATO.
We're working with our NATO allies to ensure Ukraine is flying F-16s this summer, and we show the world that we stand with Ukraine.
The president met with Ukraine's president on the sidelines of NATO's summit earlier today. Rivers and streams are running high in upstate New York and northern New England after days of heavy rains from the remnants of barrel